It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Thursday, May the 30th. Good morning. That song, Dreams, 47 years old. It came out on Rumors. A song Stevie wrote when she and Lindsay were in the midst of a breakup. They were fighting every day. She handed him a cassette tape she'd recorded. He looked up and smiled when he heard it. Like, despite all the baggage, all the garbage they were going through, he's like, damn, girl, that's pretty strong. And that song's been in our life for 47 years. It has endured. And now all I think about when I hear it is cranberry juice. One TikTok video has destroyed the legacy of that song after all those years.
Which video was that?
You don't remember the guy on the skateboard just drinking cranberry juice?
Oh, yeah, we interviewed him.
Yeah. What did he have to say?
I don't know. It's cool. Rock on.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Hang loose.
Think about that. All that work, all that love, all that passion, all that dysfunction, all the magic that was Fleetwood Mac, and some dude gets on a skateboard with a cell phone and a bottle of cranberry juice. Mm-hmm. The song was on, and I'm like, why am I tasting cranberry juice? What's happening?
Do I have a urinary tract infection?
Boy, I tell you what, if you do, get the folks from Ocean Spray to help you out there. That's what you need. We've learned that lesson already. We've talked about it. Stay away from Mr. Bubble. Get cranberry juice if you can't help yourself, and enjoy your life. Speaking about enjoying your life, listen. I don't give. The Timberwolves. That's been exciting, but you know what? They got Game 5 tonight. Very, very unlikely they're going to advance to the finals and bring home the bacon. But that's okay. You know why? Minnesota, in the first season of the Professional Women's Hockey League, beat Boston last night. By the way, right now, they're just called the Minnesotans. Is that what there's no nickname yet. It's just Minnesota. They're just playing for the whole state. And they are now champions. And I'm kind of making fun of myself for not even thinking about it or mentioning it, or I don't know how many people are paying attention. But it's great. Take a championship whenever you can. This is like, when you see somebody from Minnesota, on the U.S. Olympic team, when you see somebody cross-country skiing, when you see somebody doing anything that's not one of the big sports, it's still very much worth a celebration. Local team, boom, champions. I'll take it. No one else shares my enthusiasm? Come on, Zepp. Did you even know this had happened?
This morning I did. This morning I found out we have a women's professional hockey team, and like you, I'll take it when we can get it. Like a jerk. I feel like a fool. I've been watching these guys fumble these championships away year after year. Not get us to the promised land. And, of course, the ladies here in the state get the job done. I got a feeling, though, if Boston had won, Minnesota kind of would have won. I think, like, most of their team is Minnesota hockey players. So,
that's just how that goes?
That's how that goes. I mean, I think it was a lot of Minnesota hockey gals playing a lot of Minnesota hockey gals. But the ones with Minnesota on their jersey won it. I've been watching the highlights this morning.
Yeah.
And, freaking cool.
Yeah, it is cool. I mean, what have we learned from the U.S. women's soccer team? When you got a tough job, get the girls out there. They'll take care of it.
Yeah.
So congratulations. Sincerely, what a great accomplishment. And it's the first time, first year, first league. And as we know, it takes a long time to get a league off the ground and keep it going. And I certainly hope that continues to be the case. Because I never saw a women's hockey game until... it's probably been 16 or 18 years now, but I remember watching during the Olympics. I saw the USA versus Canada women's hockey, and I'm like, I'm not going to watch this. And 2 hours later, I'm covered in sweat. I'm screaming at the TV. I'm throwing stuff, and I was like, oh my God! It's just like in fifth grade, the first time I saw two girls get into a fist fight in school, and I was oh, good Lord, I will never be in the middle of a girl fight. That's so much more. Cataclysmic than any two dudes I've ever seen throwing hands.
Guys don't pull hair.
No, women's hockey, man. It was great at the Olympic level anyway, and I've watched it every time since. Granted, every 4 years, but I turn it on when it's on and I get excited. This is great. This is really nice, and there you go. Congratulations to the Minnesotans. That's what I'm going to call them until they tell me it's something else. They're playing for all of us. Hey, have you had any coffee yet, Zepp?
Oh, yeah. That's my coffee. I'm done with my coffee for the day.
Is that true? Okay, you're in and out.
I get up, I have my huge mug of coffee, and then I hit the day. Then I'm good.
I work a mug during the show slowly, and then Sometimes, probably 60% of the time, early afternoon, I'll have just a very small cup just to top it off and give me the boost I need to make it to 7 p.m. Before I can crash. But the New York Times is saying, hey, delay that coffee. 90 minutes. Wait 90 minutes after you wake up for that first cup, and you'll get a much better buzz from it. Yeah. To which I say to the New York Times, go screw yourself. No, no, that's not happening.
Take that crossword with you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, Monday, Tuesday, it's fine. That Friday, Saturday, Sunday run, what are you thinking? What do you think?
Yeah.
What do I have time for this in a day? Last time I did the New York Times Sunday crossword without using the auto check, the one that tells you if the letter's wrong, and it was never. It's just not possible.
Nope.
No, that's not how that works. So, delay coffee, says the New York Times. Sorry, not going to happen.
I'll let it cool just a little bit. I stick my nose in there. I get my nose right down there in the Yeti, like it's like people do with wine.
Nice.
Or something like that.
Nice. You want to smell all the cockroaches in your ground coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Swirl
you do.
the hot liquid around.
Hell yeah. You know what? Truth is, I've seen you do that. I've seen you sit there with that Yeti, and it's like, the man loses himself for a moment.
Yeah,
That's the truly present moment of the day for you.
Yeah. That's why I do this job, so I can drink coffee in the morning.
Nice. Got to have a reason. A man's got to know who he is. A man's got to know what gets him out of bed in the morning. You know what gets me out of bed this time of year every year, and I kid you not again, this is a genuine thing I get into every year, is the big script spelling bee. I think it's awesome. And in honor of the spelling bee, Google has released the top words that ordinary Americans struggle with. The words from every state to state to state that people Google. How do you spell fill in the blank? We got a lot of work to do, Americans. We got a lot of work to do. We'll tell you some of the words we're tripping over in just a few moments. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's May the 30th. We are almost out of here, May of 2024. On the show today, about 8 o'clock, we're giving away tickets to the KQ Karaoke Cruise. At about 9:25, we're going to be joined in studio by a guy named Randy Santel. We talked about him yesterday, competitive eater. And we are going to sit down with him and say, dude, what is up with that?
Yeah.
And I am very, very much looking forward to chatting with him. This man has eaten more in an hour than most of us do in a week, honestly, when you start to add up the calories. I'm looking very forward to checking in with him. The Scripps Spelling Bee is going on right now. Like the Olympics every year, it comes on and I go, oh, I don't care. And then I turn it on and then I sit there for 9 hours and I watch kids struggle and I think about how sadistic we are to put those 14-year-olds up there on national television and ask them to spell words that make no sense whatsoever. But man, is it compelling. So alongside the spelling bee, Google has posted a map of the United States with the top how to spell search from each state over the last year. So, you look at the map and what you see is one word per state. So people every day go to Google and type in how to spell and then put in something close to the proper spelling of a word because it's a word they're looking for. Let's just cut right to the chase. Minnesotans, more than any other word, are looking to spell clothes. Clothes. Don't look, Tony. Spell clothes for me, sir.
Like a door or to wear?
To wear.
CLOTHES.
That a boy.
Of
See?
course.
You're supposed
Nice.
to use it in a sentence, I think.
But of course.
He closed the door when I was putting on my clothes. You never know, I guess. So,
really? Minnesota can't figure that one out, huh?
CLOTHES. I guess it's one of those words for some people, when they see it, they go, that doesn't look right. They think it must have been something else.
Yeah.
Clothes. Clothes. Some of these are like just shocking to me. Michigan, the most searched word, cousin. I tell you what, if it were a southern state, I know what every joke would be. But Michigan, really?
Yeah.
You guys are
ZZIN, or is there just one Z?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
The one that makes I'm literally looking at the entire country. The first one that jumps off that I go, okay, I get that, is the state of Washington out in the Pacific Northwest. The number one searched word is Hanukkah. And that is
in Washington?
in Washington State. It's a word
Yeah.
with several different spellings, you'll see.
Right, yeah.
Smokey Robinson would call it Chinooka, of course, as we learned from his infamous cameo video. There's because there are a couple different spellings, I'll accept that one just fine. But some of these are just, honestly, just bizarre. Ohio, the word they're looking for is equal. Really? Equal?
Yeah.
What else could it possibly be? I mean, that's just one of those words you see all the time. I mean,
A or E.
There's a few, that they just drill into your head when you're growing up, and that is the U after the Q, know? And then after that, you're on your way. Just sound it out. I don't get that one. New Hampshire, I'm a little worried if I'm looking at my states correctly. It's been a while. I think right up there bordering Maine.
Yep.
Is that tortured? Tortured is the word they're Googling most to spell. Tortured.
yeah, trust me, that's New Hampshire, as I call it, just Mississippi with a different accent. You don't want to take a wrong turn in New Hampshire.
All right.
There's going to be a guy right there, and he's going to be wearing overalls, and he's going to ask you to come down and check something out in the basement. And at some point, he's going to tell you got a pretty mouth. I mean, I'm just saying.
I do have a beautiful mouth, by the way.
Oh, thank you, brother. The most searched word in New Mexico is quiet. Again, the QU throwing people.
Yeah.
Arizona wants to know how to spell the word colonel.
All right, well, that one can be tricky.
It can be tricky.
I get it.
Yeah.
You can't just sound it out, I don't think. What's up with California?
I was going to go there next. The word they're looking for, pretty. Pretty.
They're not Googling it to spell it. They're just infatuated with it. Pretty.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, they're just
pretty.
Let's see what's pretty today. Yeah.
Here's a good one from Nevada. Actually, it's perfect. The word they're most likely, the most often trying to spell, internet.
Look it up on the
Internet.
Yeah.
They're like, is it one T or two? Is it internet? It's like the most innermost net you can find.
Yeah.
North Dakota is secret. South Dakota is beautiful.
Really?
Wyoming is corduroy.
Why?
Corduroy.
Yeah.
Now, Grant, you know what? I had to think about. I mean, I look at it and I'm like, yeah, C-O-R-U-R. Yeah, corduroy. Not a word I don't know if I've ever written or typed the word corduroy in my life, now that I think about it.
Never. Why is that coming up in Wyoming? Corduroy.
I thought maybe you would know. You spend a lot of time out west.
I don't know. I don't see the corduroy trend coming back, or maybe they think it means something that it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe they're going with something else.
Missouri, for anyone who's been there, won't be surprised. Unconscious. That's the word they're looking for. Unconscious. and then here's a weird one. Idaho, not autonomy, which I would think, but strawberries. They're looking to spell strawberries.
Really?
Strawberries.
Just going with a Y instead of the IE, perhaps? I mean,
I guess. Fascinating stuff. So anyway, back to Minnesota clothes. We need to learn how to remember CLOTHES. The word Illinois looks for the most. I'm sorry, Indiana looks for the most is jealous.
Yeah, they are of every other state, I think, probably. What about Iowa? What the hell's going on down there in Iowa? I owe the world an apology. Grandma? Really?
Grandma. Wow.
Grandma.
What the hell?
Right? How do you screw that one up?
I had a semi-argument with Rachel one time over the word Wednesday. She's like, that doesn't look right. It's spelled like
Wednesday. Yeah. Oh, and you spelled it correctly.
Yes.
She was saying no, not going to happen.
Uh-huh.
Wow. I had a argument with my wife the other day. She said something. I mentioned like offhand. I said, man, something's going on with me. Like if I just run up 2 flights of stairs, I get winded. That's a new thing. And she said, well, you just because you hold your breath and you run. She goes, just breathe up and down stairs. Like just breathe normally. And I was like, oh yeah, and it makes all the difference in the world. And I said to her, hey, you said that the other day. That's really funny. You said that because it works. And she goes, what are you talking about? I never told you that. I go, yeah, you did.
What?
I said, yeah, we were right here. And I said, and I even said, like, shit, man, I've had COVID 3 times. Maybe I got a little weird COVID aftershock where my heart elevates on stairs more than it used to. And she looked at me, she goes, every time you go upstairs, you can't just walk up them like a normal. You always take 2 at a time and you run.
You bound
and
it.
she goes, and I guarantee you're holding your breath when you do it. Just breathe as you step. And I was like, Hey, that makes all the difference. Go figure. I still attack stairs like a 4-year-old. And it's been really nice. And I thanked her for that. And she literally looked at me. She goes, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Huh. You must ask a lot of dumb questions.
I must ask a lot of dumb questions. And she doesn't even remember the answers she gives me.
Maybe you're dreaming these answers from her. I don't know. That's odd. I'm impressed with the fact that you're still bounding upstairs. Just yesterday, I used that. I said, where you been? I said, well, blah, blah, before I just bounded up the stairs, and then I stopped myself, and I thought, when was the last time I bounded up the stairs? I can't bound anywhere anymore. And
my bounding is not what it used to be. I mean, it's still a bound, but it's not the bound of my youth. Make no mistake about it. I do know how to spell tattoo, even though I don't have any. But make sure you make no mistake. No shortage of tattoos still going down. The Timberwolves fans are not kidding around, and we'll explain what we're talking about in a little bit. But first, before any of that, we have not only a history lesson, but Mike Evans.
Hey, good morning, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Good morning, Steve and Zepp and Tony, everybody. We got one more day before the weekend. Weekend coming up, and I got some movie reviews. And you know, when it comes to movies, the place to go to see them is Marcus Theaters. Marcus Theaters, the best movie chain in America, and every Tuesday, $6 for any movie at any Marcus Theater. Big game tonight. I know they're down 3-1, but you know what? I'm feeling strong for the Timberwolves. I'll be watching tonight, as I know everybody else will be. Regarding yesterday, anybody out there ever been without power? It's enough to piss off the Pope. Of course, I doubt if you ever had that problem. We were without power for 13 hours yesterday, but the grid is back up, and I'm back in action, and I'm starting off with two huge stories. First, the grand jury has been convened to hear multiple federal charges against P. Diddy. You know, grand juries are not convened unless law officials agree there is more than reasonable evidence of crimes. This is horrible news for P. Diddy. One big story down, the next one. So the FBI, the DEA, and the LAPD are digging even deeper into their investigation, trying to find out who supplied the drug ketamine that killed Matthew Perry. And what they're learning is alarming. They've learned that ketamine is the new in vogue drug of Hollywood, and several stars are believed to be users. They have also learned that it is very, very expensive and very, very dangerous. This is going to be a huge story when all is said and done. So, Britney Spears' latest calamity, she says somebody stole all of her jewelry. How bizarre is that? Some people are asking, was it insured? You know, with Britney reporting those money problems, could this be some kind of scam? I don't know, but I can tell you this. Some of her family really want Britney to go back under a conservatorship for her own safety. And how weird, Britney all of a sudden hanging out with her estranged brother, who she hardly ever talks to. They're partying like big dogs in Vegas. I think she's only doing it hoping that it'll keep the rest of the family away. Ben Affleck went to his daughter Violet's graduation, but no sign of J-Lo anywhere. You can stick a fork in that relationship. It is overdone. And more bad news for Jennifer Lopez. Rumors of her doing a residency in Las Vegas. That's not going to happen. Her music video never got played. Her single and album were even worse. Her advance ticket concert sales, non-existent. I have said for years there is only one thing that will save Jennifer Lopez's superstar status, and that is a huge, huge movie hit. As far as her music train has left the station, including radio stations. Movie reviews tomorrow, and a huge, huge story about a great movie coming out in September. Have a great day. Go Timberwolves. Talk to you tomorrow. See ya.
There's the Mike Evans Hollywood Report for the day. Right now, it's time that we look back. Oh, I'll tell you a little something about sports history. On this day, a very long time ago in 1920, for the first of only 2 times, I believe, in Major League history, a player was traded to another team that he happened to be playing in the middle of a doubleheader with. 2 players were traded in the midst of a doubleheader. They simply switched dugouts. Chicago Cubs, St. Louis Cardinals. In between the two games, the Cubs traded their right fielder for the Cardinals center fielder. And both guys were told, and they literally just walked across the field and took off their jerseys and put on the other team. They played the first game, and then they played the second game for opposite teams. I mean, that's just a weird thing in baseball. It's happened twice. The first time it happened on this day in 1920. In 1994, the greatest round of golf ever was recorded. This is astonishing. A 38 under par 34 for 18 holes by a young lad in North Korea named Kim Jong-il. First time he'd ever played golf and literally somehow shot 38 under par. It was better than the greatest PGA round by over 25 strokes. He had 5 holes in one. I mean, literally, the guy is just amazing. This is shortly before he took over North Korea. Now, he's 5'3", okay, and had never played before. So I'm going to suggest maybe that score is a little goosed. Maybe the numbers aren't quite accurate.
Don't start an international incident now, Steve.
Well, that's true. I don't want to do that.
Can you imagine if an American golfer had achieved the same score? We would appoint them probably dictator for life.
That's probably very true. You know what? As well, we should have. Like, now, suddenly it makes sense. Now it makes sense. The guy shot 38 under par, and I'm questioning whether or not he should be the ruler for life, for all of his lives. Nah, what am I doing?
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Thursday, May the 30th. What if I was Stevie Cougar and couldn't do anything about it? I think about that all the time with John Mellencamp. He literally signed a record deal, and as they were signing it, as he's signing it, the guy goes, he looks at the contract, he goes, what's Johnny Cougar? And his manager and the dude from the label go, oh, we can't sell you if you're John Mellencamp. We think Johnny Cougar's better. And he's like, wait, what?
And it is.
It is.
Honest,
yeah. Well, in the late 70s, it was much better for sure. Yeah. Might as well have just called him Johnny Bravo and gotten over with it. Give him the suit. You fit the suit, dude. It's good.
Yeah. He also said in an interview once that they tried to kind of, if you look at that first album, they tried to kind of go with an androgynous thing. They were thinking David Bowie for him.
Yeah, now right.
That's a big swing and a miss. You see Mellencamp, you listen to his tunes, and you're thinking, I think we got the next David Bowie here.
Oh, my God. Completely insane. Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals tonight at the Target Center. Timberwolves, Mavericks. The Mavericks most likely will be without Derek Lively again. The big... the kid out of Duke who had a great series going until Cat almost decapitated him with his kneecap in Game 3. The Mavericks are calling it a neck strain, which is a weird way to spell concussion. He couldn't walk. He couldn't get. They had to all but carry him off the court. That's not a neck strain. I don't know why. I have no idea why the Mavericks are calling it something when it's clear. If this were a football game, you'd go, that guy's concussed, and you'd be right. Or a hockey game. Why the Mavericks are calling it a neck strain is beyond me.
Well, there's a whole different protocol for concussions now, right?
That's very true.
Concussions, you got to sit them, and there's the protocol you've got to go through to get them back on the court. I don't even know if that exists in the NBA, but maybe it does. But still, you don't want to ignore that protocol. It's there for a reason. But whatever.
That's what I'm saying. He's a kid. He's doing great. I'm sure he's a big part of their future. It's like, okay, chill. You've got a 3-1 lead. I think they are trying to rush him back onto the court, and I think it's a little crazy. Naz Reid will be playing tonight for the Timberwolves, of course, and he will be in an arena full of people with his name tattooed on their body. I'm sure you heard. This goes back to after the Game 2 win over the Denver Nuggets. A local tattoo artist, a guy named J.C. Strobel, just went on Twitter, or X as it's called now, and he posted, man, I'll tattoo Naz Reid's name on anyone for $20. It was like a joke. I mean, it was a lark. He meant it. To do. He meant it, but he didn't expect anybody would take advantage of it. He is now, since that, I think that was on May 12th, my man has tattooed hundreds, literally triple digits of Timberwolves fans have gotten the words Naz Reid tattooed wherever they want on their body. He says, you tell me where you want it, I'll put it on there. And it's just blown up into this insanely crazy thing. For $20, you can get this man's name tattooed on you, and it's still rolling along. I mean, I don't have any tattoos. if I were going to get one, I know it would be. And I'm not saying I never will, but if I did, I know it would be some spur of the moment, kind of stupid, kind of cool thing, like Naz Reid. I would be like, screw it, let's go for it.
The problem is, if you break up with Naz Reid, then you've got this old tattoo. It's just, it's heartbreaking to look at. Naz Reid, really a player? I see the Timberwolves. People get the Vikings all the time. I've seen people do some stupid tattoos, but hey, and to each their own. I mean, you can easily cover that up. It's not too many letters.
Right.
I wonder if Nas has it on his own body.
I know a guy, a friend of mine, his name is Richard, and he has the word Richard tattooed on his throat.
Well, that's too bad.
You have a friend, Mike, who has his name Mike tattooed on his arm.
Look who's talking. I have Zepp on my arm, for crying out loud. I'm part of the problem here.
But Zepp is not, that's different than Brian. I mean, Zepp is, I know it's actually your legal surname, but it's cool. Zepp. That sounds cool.
It works. People just think I'm a Zeppelin fan. I get that everyone. Big Zeppelin fan, huh? Yeah, that's right.
Well, it's true. You are.
I rock.
Yeah, I am. Yes.
The guy, J.C. Strobel, he's up in Roseville. He said, here's a great line, or a quote, I should say. Out of hundreds and hundreds of scheduled appointments, we've had 5 cancellations. As we're speaking, I'm still getting more emails and requests for Naz Reid tattoos. They're just rolling and rolling and rolling. And he's gone up as the oldest person so far, 81 years old, with the Naz Reid tattoo. I mean, think about Naz Reid. You're just a kid. You played 1 year at LSU. You weren't even drafted. You bust your ass, make the team. He's the absolute ultimate fan favorite kind of story. And he's also been playing lights out basketball. I think it's so great. It's perfect. It's not Ant-Man. It's not Gobert with a big, access denied or something like that. It's like, no, it's Naz Reid. The guy comes in off the bench, hits threes, wasn't drafted. I love that whole idea.
Naz is a beast.
Yeah, he's just absolutely astounding.
What if he's traded and the team he goes to ends up beating the Timberwolves in the finals next year? Now you're a big Timberwolves fan, and you've got one of the enemy players tattooed on your own. I'm doing what you don't do when you get a tattoo. I'm thinking about it.
I think it's I think Patriots fans were happy when Brady won a ring with the Bucks.
Really?
You stay with your guys.
I don't know. I've got a lot of friends from Boston and Salem. They didn't express any happiness.
No, okay. Well, I was just trying there.
Yeah.
I think anyway. You could do a lot worse, I guess, than and plus, I see NAZ and I think about it. Makes me think about like Todd Rundgren. He had the band was 2 Z's, but there's a lot of things. It makes me. I just like the name. Naz Reid's just cool.
Yeah, it is a cool name.
And it certainly looks way better than putting Rudy Gobert on your body.
Rudy.
I wonder if anyone has a back piece in giant calligraphy script. Karl Anthony Towns. I don't think so. But Naz Reid, everybody will get those. There is a Boston Celtics fan who has been someone people have kept tabs with since 2022. His name is Jack Bienvenu. And 2 years ago on a dare, he got a tattoo during the playoffs that says, quite clearly, Boston Celtics 2022 world champions. They lost in the finals to the Warriors that year. This gentleman is now 20 years old. I mean, he was a kid when he got this done. He says, I will wait until they actually win it this time, but he does have a way to turn that 2022 to a 2024. He will update it. And the Celtics are in the finals, so he's 4 more Celtics wins away from making that 2 make a little bit more sense. I'm sure he is probably a little more eager to see that happen than just about anybody else in Celtics Nation, if you will. I mean, like I said, I never got a tattoo, but I feel like there's always been the chance that I would do something just to do it like that. Like, just get a weed eater right down the side of my leg.
Right.
No one's going to expect that.
Your first tattoo, they don't let you get them drunk anymore. Back when I got my tattoos in the 1980s, especially off base at an Army base, you just walk in completely polluted. That's why I don't even know why I have my name on my tattoo. I woke up the next morning with the eagle, of course, the screaming eagle, because you only had like 5 or 6 things you could choose from. On the wall there, you had the anchor, the American flag, Grim Reaper, perhaps. I did want a naked woman, they said, with mom tattooed on the ass. But at my buddy's always go, just give him the eagle. And then I said, well, why is my name on it? He said, I don't know why I put that on there. He just kind of stuck that on there. So those are the good old days when you could get something really stupid drunk.
Sure.
Now to make you. Now, if you appear to be, buzzed up in any way, they won't give you a tattoo. Most places won't. So that's eliminated, I think, a lot of the really dumb tattoos. Like there was one we did one year that had the Houston Texans as like Super Bowl champions like 3 or 4 years ago. They hadn't even made the playoffs yet.
Yeah, right.
And the guy he's like, I just wishful thinking. I thought if I did it, then they'd win. I'm like, oh, well, that's what they were waiting for. Or the guy that got O.J. Simpson tattooed on him. A big picture of O.J. Simpson tattooed on him before the murder, of course.
Oh, okay.
Naked Gun fan.
Then right. Then you've got
that's
that.
Exactly right.
Dang.
I have a buddy in L.A. He's a singer-songwriter who and he does a lot of. Now he's doing like scoring for documentaries. He's got a great career. His professional name is Blue, Bleu. Awesome writer, and he's got a tattoo on his right arm, and it is big block letters in black that simply says "tattoo." In big letters. I always like that one.
I can appreciate that one. We're talking about the Patriots fans. I've got a bunch of buddies. I spent a lot of time in Salem when I was younger. And one of them, the Patriots, the old Patriots logo on the side of the album, the Minuteman down there hiking the ball,
one of the great logos of all time.
Yeah, facing you, hiking the ball. Yeah. He went down to one of these cheap places, and got a tattoo of that logo, but it looks like he's squatting, and the football looks like a brown turd, like he's just squatting and pooping.
Oh, weird.
Oh, it's the worst tattoo ever.
Well, Minutemen had to relieve themselves just like the rest of us.
On the go, on the march while they were retreating from the British.
I like... If you anytime you Google just worst tattoo fails, you see so many great ones. I'm looking at some photos. This is on someone's forearm. Never, don't give up, in big cursive letters. And there's that one. I've always liked the one. I've seen it before, and it says, "It's okay." It's so much in one tattoo. It's is my life, not it is my life or it's my life. It's IT''S. It's is my life in quotes, and then it's attributed to John Bovey.
John
Bovey on a tattoo, not Bon Jovi. John Bovey.
John Bovey.
It's the song. It's my life, but it says it's is my life,
my God.
and then John Bovey.
I mean, you don't. It's not like you're scribbling on there real quick. These tattoos take time.
They should
see what you're doing as you're doing it, and
I love another one. Never lose hope, except it's actually never loose hope. There's 2 O's in lose. You gotta you just gotta take your time, guys. You gotta look in the mirror. You gotta make sure that you go over these things ahead of time. The word strength on someone's arm just misspelled STRENGHT. The H and the T are reversed. Strength. Strength.
Yeah, I'm looking at one here. It's a Sprite can, but they forgot the R. It's just spite. But I like that better.
It's great.
Intentional. Just spite. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Things we used to get when we were kids, and they would take brand names like whatever it was, Pepsi or whatever, and they would they would screw it up like that. They would turn it into a parody. And maybe that's what this one looks like. But it's listed as a tattoo fail. This one I think is brilliant. I don't understand the tattoo fail at all. It's the Lowe's, the building stores.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's their logo, and inside the logo it says, how many Lowe's could Rob Lowe rob if Rob Lowe could rob Lowe's? Not bad.
Wow, that's not bad at all.
No.
A member of our crew on tour in Europe one night come back late to the hotel, decided to go for the tattoo, and he got that sort of barbed wire looking thing around his bicep.
Yeah, it's trendy.
Yeah.
And the guy on the underside of his bicep, he came around the bend and did not have the golden spike to connect the tracks, if you will. He was not in line. I guess the guy was freestyling it. He didn't have it taped off or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like if you had kids and you had Thomas the Tank Engine train sets, or other types, I'm sure, there were times when you'd be connecting a curve and then you'd be missing one piece and it just wouldn't sync up. And you look under the chairs. Maybe it's in did it fall back into the box? This was that experience on a tattoo. There was no way to connect it, and he just left it there. So the two, it just like they just meet sort of almost in sync, but not even really close. And we were like, that's not that bad, dude. And it was terrible.
No.
Yeah, when you talk about freehanding, or mine was my worst one by far is a scorpion on my back, and I was just trucking on through on my motorcycle like Seeger, out trying to find myself. He's in the artist motorcycle maintenance. I stop at a bar in Sioux City, Iowa, and I go in there. I'm the only one in the bar, and they have a bouncer. I'm like, man, do you feel like you're earning your money today? Anyway, we strike up a conversation. Turns out he's a tattoo artist, he says, and he's just trying to make some money to start his own tattoo shop there in Sioux City.
Right.
And then offers me one. Runs out to his van, gets his tattoo stuff. I take off my shirt. I lean over the bar with my elbows up on the bar. He gives me the tattoo on my back of the scorpion. Doesn't look much like a scorpion, but when you put your arms down, like you're just standing there, then it looks like a squished bug someone just stepped on. It's a bad tattoo. It's not a good score, but it's on my back, out of sight, out of mind, kind of deal. But
Sure.
Well, if you lay on your back, you can squish the bug. That makes for a good story. You can explain it that way.
Yes, I will.
That's great. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ talk and text line. Just got a text that says, hey, I had "No High Can See Me from the Depths of Hell" from the Ozzy Osbourne song. And did I check to make sure that's the exact words and spelled right before I got that tattoo? Good extra work there, making sure you got it right. Another text, just a photo of a guy who right under his throat, like on the clavicle chest plate, no regrets, but regrets is spelled RAGRETS. It's you got the no regrets. You might as well put wait, what am I? Ragrats. Like Rugrats. That's what I'm trying to say. Rugrats.
It's a tattoo. It's permanent.
You can
with me. Google these words. We've already covered this story this morning. We're getting back to it with the game show at 8 o'clock for some tickets. The spelling bee stuff. Yeah, spelling on tattoos is, you can just
paramount.
check it out. And it takes a while to do the tattoo, You're not scribbling. It's not me typing,
Spelling on tattoos is paramount. PEARUHMUNT. Paramount. Hey, KQ's Karaoke Cruise is back June 21st on Paddleford Riverboats, featuring 2 karaoke stages, drinks with the KQ crew, and free food from Lucky's 13 Pub. Tickets are on sale now at 92kqrs.com. Sponsored by Alexander Exteriors and Dennis Kirk.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. About 30 minutes from now, we're going to give away a couple of tickets to the KQ Karaoke Cruise, which is shoving off on June 21st. Always a fine time. And we got a couple tickets for a winner of a contest. We'll put you to the test in about 30 minutes from right now. Stay tuned, and we'll let you know when to call in and be a part of that. In the meantime, Colorado, Denver, a police officer is checking trailheads at a big park. Looking around. People park their car, they go off and hike, and they go do whatever they're doing. The trailhead.
Break-ins. Yeah, a lot of break-ins at trailheads. People will bust into cars at trailheads, so the cops will. It happens in Montana all the time, and so the cops routinely will, like a bad neighborhood, cruise through there just to check things out.
Sure. A cop comes across a car, and he sees there's drug paraphernalia in plain sight. And as he's looking in the car, an Uber pulls up, and the owner of that car happens to get out of an Uber. He had left the place, and all of a sudden he gets dropped off at the same location by an Uber, which is convenient for the cop, because then he's like, oh, this is your car? All right, dude. So then the cop does what cops do. He starts to search the car. He asks. The guy gives him consent. He is going through the car, and he had a body cam on, and you can see, and more importantly for right now, hear the cop's interaction with the driver as he's looking through the car.
Hold on 1 second. I'm going to do a little editing on the fly here. Let's try this again.
Oh, I like that.
Yo, you got a rattlesnake in here? You kidding me?
Yo.
Live rattlesnake in this bin. Yeah, it's rattling at me.
Big one.
Yeah, so, okay, in reverse order, he found drugs, a gun, and a rattlesnake. I mean, seriously, like, the crack pipe's one thing, the gun's another thing, but a live rattlesnake in a bin.
Bonus.
Yo, you got a rattlesnake in here? You kidding me? Live rattlesnake in this bin. Yeah, it's rattling at me.
Well, maybe that's what the drugs were for. The rattlesnake keeps them calm.
Is that what it does? I mean, I get having a dog in your car for security. The problem with the rattlesnake is it doesn't know the difference between you and the cop. It's going to bite whoever gets in his grill.
Yeah, and you have to wonder if you have a gun in the vehicle and the cop's going to search the vehicle, you have to tell the officer, hey, listen, I have a gun in the vehicle. You have to disclose that information by law, I think.
Yeah.
Is how it was explained to me one time. So I think you'd have to let him know there's a rattlesnake in there. The officer did respond, is there anything else in here that's going to bite me? But yeah, that's...
yeah.
God dang, man.
Yo, you got a rattlesnake in here?
No.
You kidding me? Live rattlesnake in this bin. Yeah, it's rattling at me.
Yeah, how'd that get in there?
I have heard in my life one rattlesnake. I didn't even see it, but I heard it. And it's still, boy, it's haunting. I mean, it's just, yeah, man. You're like, hey, just you doing that. I just literally shivers right up my spine.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I do not like the snakes. If I were going through that bin and I saw that rattlesnake, every now and again you see the videos of there was the one like a few months ago. I think it was like some acorns hit a cop car and the cop jumped out and started shooting. He just thought it's like, no, dude, those are like acorns hitting your car. If I'm anywhere and there's a gun in the room and I hear a rattlesnake, I'm just going to take that gun and start shooting. Be forewarned. Don't bring a snake and a gun anywhere near me. I'm losing sanity as soon as I hear that damn thing.
By the way, here's your audio of a cop confused an acorn for a gunshot, unloaded his entire clip.
Just fired! Just fired! Just fired!
Freaking out.
I'm hit!
Yeah, that's my favorite part.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part. I'm hit. No, you weren't hit. They're just acorns. Nothing hit you. It wasn't returning fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps a desk job for that police officer, but back
Probably
to the
for the best.
A jumpy little rascal.
Yeah, back to the rattlesnakes. We were going out on a trail run one time, and they said, no, there are rattlesnakes out here. If you hear a rattlesnake running, that's good news because the rattlesnake is warning you. It's like if you don't hear it and then you just get bit, that sometimes happens. The rattlesnake's completely surprised by you because we're on a trail run. We're not walking. So rattling is a good thing. And indeed, as we were running, at some point we heard some rattling, and we've just been too conditioned as a society. All those Westerns, all those movies we grew up with, I didn't feel comforted at all that I was hearing it rattle because it was warning me. I don't care who you are, chills right up the spine.
Yeah, they say I remember seeing something with, I was watching like a Bruce Lee movie and they say, my brother said, he goes, but the whole idea of when Kato would always jump out and surprise you, goes, yeah, they scream before they give you that first karate chop. Right. And it's to paralyze you with fear then you're an easier mark. That's what I was told anyway. And I thought about that and it made perfect sense to me. And I think to myself, I hear that rattle. That's exactly what happened. I'd rather just be bitten than be rattled and then bit. I mean, if I'm going to get bit, I don't want to hear it first. It's just one less thing to terrorize me.
It's a double shot.
Yeah. I mean, my adrenaline would already be surging so high that the venom would just, every ounce of my 6,000 miles of blood vessels would have venom in it if I'd heard that rattle ahead of time. Just talking about this winds me up. I got to change the subject. Let's go to Michigan. Check this out. A 44-year-old dude in Michigan had a virtual court hearing, a Zoom hearing with a judge. The problem for Corey Harris was that his license had been suspended and he got picked up a few months back for driving with a suspended license. To this day, his license is still suspended, and now he has a Zoom call with a judge to discuss what he has to do to get his license back. It wasn't a normal Zoom call because my man made the Zoom call from his car while driving.
Yes.
To the judge.
Awesome.
The judge is like, wait, I'm sorry. What? Listen to this right here.
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. I'm parking right now.
This is a driver while license suspended?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And he was just driving, and he didn't have a license.
That is with the charges, Your Honor, yes.
He's suspended, and he's just driving.
That is correct, Your Honor.
I don't even know why he would do that. So defendant's bond is revoked in this matter? Defendant is to turn himself into the Washington County Jail by 6 p.m. today. Failure to turn himself in will result in a bench warrant with no bond.
That's the best.
He throws that. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me?
I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid.
What in God's name?
It didn't occur to you to literally just pull over and jump out on the sidewalk and say, I'm walking to my doctor's appointment because I can't drive.
Now, I may be an idiot, but there is one thing I am not, sir, and that, sir, is an idiot.
Oh, my God.
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office. Actually, I'm parking right now.
This is a driver while license suspended.
That is correct, Your Honor.
And he was just driving. And he didn't have a license. Failure to turn himself in will result in a bench warrant with no bond.
Are you kidding me?
God. I love the idea. He says, are you driving right now? And he goes, well, I'm just parking.
Yeah.
He's trying to split hairs. No, I'm parking, sir. I wouldn't be driving while I'm with you on this Zoom call. Absolutely fantastic. And then that's I can't decide. I think that's second on my list of favorite stupid driving stories from the week. In Pennsylvania, a cop gets a call. Hey, this is a town in Pennsylvania. He gets a call. It comes over the wire on the cop car. Reckless driver. Mm-hmm. There's a report of someone driving very recklessly. Cops immediately find it's a car who had forced a white pickup off the street, backed up to get onto a road, ran over the sidewalk, hit some traffic cones. Someone's just out driving crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
Cop finds him right away. Puts on the blues, hits the siren, the car pulls over, and the cop walks up to the window, and it's a 14-year-old boy. And the cop's like, what's going on here? And he goes, I'm just having a driving lesson. In the passenger seat is a quote-unquote family member. We don't know if it's an uncle or maybe his dad, is a 39-year-old man who is hammered giving a driving lesson to his 14-year-old kid. You've got an adult man in the passenger seat, blitzkrieg drunk, giving you a driving lesson.
Here's what's not to do.
You're doing great. You're doing great. Just go faster. Hit the brakes. Dude was absolutely lit. When the cop asked him to get out of the car, the adult, he got out and started doing a dance in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
He was charged with public drunkenness, corruption of minors, and endangering the welfare of children.
Oh, y'all just trying to give a simple... I wanted to probably have a drink before I gave either one of the kids a driving lesson. A little nerve-wracking for both of us.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, but didn't actually do it. Go through with it. Didn't get smashed drunk. And I also waited till they were of age. Although in South Dakota, you do get your driver's permit at 14.
I like the idea of I just picture a family get together and there's just an uncle just sitting in the corner slowly drinking some sort of slurry to himself. Yeah. And his 14-year-old nephew is like, I can't wait till I can drive. What are you waiting for? Right. I'll show you. Let's go. Come on, let's go, kid. It'll be a good minute. We don't ever get time alone together. Let's go. And they hop in the car, and then one thing leads to another. My daughter got her driver's license during COVID at a time when it was 2020, still very locked down. And she waited till she was 18. She had no interest in driving like the day she turned 16. She's like, I'm just going to hold off. But summer of 20, it was a great time to teach her to drive because there was no traffic. We were still very quiet. So that was very helpful. She went in to take her driver's test. She walks out of the building with the driving instructor. They get into a car. Mm-hmm. They pull out of the parking lot. They turn right. And I'm not exaggerating. 90 seconds later, she's parking the car. And I'm like, oh, my God, she failed so badly. They're already back.
Yeah.
And she gets out, and I put the window down. I'm waiting on her. I go, what's up? She goes, I passed. I was like, what?
90 seconds.
She goes, we just drove down the road, and I pulled into a parking lot, and I pulled into a space and backed out and came back, and he said I was good to go. And I was like, what? You got to be kidding me. And she said, I think he's drunk. What? True story.
Oh, hilarious.
And I was like, are you kidding me? She goes, no, I mean, he's something. But he was like, okay, you're good. And she got her license. She is a good driver, but the test was, I am not exaggerating. It was under 2 minutes long.
That's hilarious.
We were getting away with a lot during the pandemic, weren't we?
Yeah, truly. That was what I was thinking. This guy was just like, I don't care.
It's the end of the world.
Yep. He's wearing a gas mask from World War I or something. Who knows? But, Oh my God! I'm trying to remember my driver's test. I mean, I remember taking it, and I remember being told the guy's gonna. My brother gave me the hot tip. He said he's gonna ask you to turn like into a driveway and then turn around like a 3-point turn.
Yeah.
And he said, don't pull in forward. He goes, you drive past the driveway, then reverse, turn in, and then pull out forward when you're leaving. Like, 3-point turn, but you go past the turn in, reverse into it, and then come out, forward as opposed to backing out. And I did that, and the guy literally was like, well done. Yeah. Like that was the cool thing, and I knew it, and the guy gave me props for it. And I was like, all right, I've passed the test. Cool. and I was always, and I got a good spatial thing. Parallel parking never threw me, so I was good to go. Yeah, didn't get a perfect score. I missed a few, but
Yeah. I had me parallel park on an empty street in Huron, South Dakota. That's where I went and did it. And there wasn't marked, like you have to be between these two lines. It's like, just imagine there's a couple of cars here. I'm like, okay. And I don't know how I did because there were no cars on the street. I remember taking my good old sweet space there to get it done, but I don't think in South Dakota. Like I said, I was 14 years old when I got my driver's license. They allowed you to do that in South Dakota because a rural state and the kids have to drive to operate the tractors, run to town to get the parts, these sort of things. And I figure it was just an afterthought. They're like, you're probably not going to encounter another vehicle out on the road anyway. So
yeah, right.
You're good, kid.
I turned 16 in August, and I got my license in November, and everyone in my school thought I was weird. What do you mean? Why'd you wait? Like you got your permit on your 16th birthday, and then 1 month later you got your license, and that's how everybody did it. And I was like, well, I don't have a car. I don't have anywhere to go. I can't do anything. It just wasn't a priority. And I got it like in November. I waited an extra month and a half. And literally it was like I had to talk about it for a while.
You freak.
Yeah, it was. I might as well have shown up with a large boil on my forehead. What the hell happened to you? I don't know. I just decided to wait till November. Crazy. The first time I drove, and by the time I came around, my mom was the one giving driving lessons. Thank God, because I can't imagine what that would have been like with the duck. But the first time I drove on a road, like a real road that was like, say, 40 miles per hour with my mom, I was hugging the right shoulder so hard. She was like, honey, get over. I'm like, no. I was so afraid of having a head-on collision. I remember that feeling very clearly. She was like, you are about to run off the road, just a 2-lane road. And it took me so long to just get one. And then, once I figured it out, once I realized, oh no, first of all, I'm driving a Datsun 210, which is the size of a large golf cart. She's like, you have a lot more room than you think on this lane. And then I also remember the first time I drove on an interstate highway. I drove for about 45 minutes at 60 miles an hour and was completely mentally spent when I finished that shift.
Yeah,
exhausted. My brain was working overtime, checking the mirrors, looking around, checking the speedometer. Look at the mirror. Look at the speedometer. Look at my mom. Look at the mirror. Look at the speedometer. I mean, I was processing it all, and it shut me down, man. I've never been more exhausted from a drive than the first time I drove.
I think I was in my 20s in Minnesota because I grew up in South Dakota. Yeah, there was, and then I was off to the basic training and that sort of thing. But I did all my driving in South Dakota until I got to Minneapolis, and I'm on 35W, and I thought that I was Jeff Gordon, in the Brickyard 400. I thought, this is insane. People are going 70 miles an hour, and they're only like 10 feet away from me, on both sides and in front and in back of me. I thought I was up on the wheel, sitting in the front of the seat. It was super intense, and that's what they're out there trying to do right now. No one's probably going 70 on 35, but I thought people do this every day. Wow. That's crazy. Because in South Dakota, I mean, if you passed a car, everybody waved. You waved at every car you passed, and you knew most of them. And if you didn't know someone, you're like, who's that? What are they doing around here? We got someone that's driving through here. If it was an out-of-state plate, you followed them. And back out of state. You escorted them back out to the state line. But it was in Minnesota, it was just crazy combat driving.
I remember reading that the first 2 cars that ever appeared in Kansas City, Kansas, the city had 2 cars, and they hit each other in a head-on collision. There were only 2 cars in the whole city, and they met at an intersection and hit each other. That pretty much says everything you need to know about cars.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. That was The Police, Every Breath You Take, or as the often misspelled tattoo would say, Every Breathe You Take. I mean, it's that extra E makes all the difference, does it not? Does it not?
Does.
On the KQRS Facebook page, we're talking about some tattoo fails, and Carol did right. Said breath when asked if it was supposed to say breathe. The person hadn't noticed. It was an easy fix. They were looking for breathe, left the E off. You could add the E, but if you put the E on there when you need breath, well, then you are S out of luck, as they say. You know what? That's a karaoke classic, Every Breath You Take. A lot of people love that one. Probably the creepiest love song ever written. Sting always talks about, people tell me they played it at my wedding, and I'm like, it's about a stalker.
Yeah,
what the hell's wrong with you? It's hardly a lovey, touchy-feely kind of tune, but, don't let it get in the way of don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. That was the summer of '83 for me, that song. Man, I still hear it. I just ooh, as soon as that first snare hit, crack. I'm like, I'm in. Let's go. I absolutely love that song. It's never worn out its welcome, that's for sure. I will not be karaokeing that song on the KQ Karaoke Cruise, however. This is not a long-winded way for me to say, you've never heard Every Breath You Take till you hear me sing it. I ain't going to do that. But I'm going to go have a few drinks. I'm going to go have fun on the Karaoke Cruise. It's June 21st. We're going out with Paddleford Riverboats, and we're going to have a blast. And we've got two callers on ice right now, on hold, who want to throw their hat in the ring. They're going to compete, a test of strength, of guile, of wit, of something, and we'll see who gets the tickets to the cruise. Tony, what are we going to ask of our listeners today?
It's spelling bee time. It's spelling bee season.
Hell yeah.
So what we're going to do is a rock and roll spelling bee. We're going to call this Spells Like Teen Spirit.
Spells like Teen Spirit.
Yeah, okay. What we're going to do is give you band names that are difficult to spell and see if you can master the spelling of
Yes,
said
I
band
like
name.
it. I like it a lot. Spells like Teen Spirit. Let's rock it. All right.
Right on.
Contestant number 1, who have we got?
Doug from Roseville, welcome.
Doug, good morning.
Good morning.
How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling fine. I want to sing in the karaoke cruise because I'm good.
Yeah. Dude, right on.
Like it.
For my ticket?
Do you already have the first song picked out in your head that you want to sing if you get on that cruise?
Yeah. It is Old Man by Neil Young.
Wow.
That's a party tune.
Give us a little,
it is.
Give us a little taste.
Little taste? Ready?
Yeah.
Oh, man, look at my life. I'm a lot like you were.
Doug, you're bringing a tear to me eye.
My life, I'm a lot like you were.
Yeah, and to your point, Zepp, that means, I hear champagne and confetti, and that's a party song from day one. So let's get to it. All right, Doug, we're gonna test your spelling chops here. You've already proven you've got the voice to match the win. Good luck to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Doug, you're a songbird. Your first is the band Queensryche. Spell it, please.
What do we got?
Queensryche.
Queensryche from Seattle, Washington. Queensryche. Please spell Queensryche, sir.
Queens. Queensryke. Ryke.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Nay.
Queensryche.
Yeah.
Wow. And there is an umlaut over the Y, but we weren't going to demand that.
You started with a tough one, man. It
is a spelling bee. Yes, sir.
A tough one.
All right. I suck at spelling.
Yeah,
man.
All right.
Make him use it in a sentence.
What, suck?
Nah, come on. You were close on that one.
All right, we'll give you 5. Next one up is Husker Du. Husker Du.
What was that?
Husker Du.
Husker Du.
Husker Du. Local
Du.
boys.
Yes.
A while back.
Yeah.
Give it a run.
Got to type it in first.
He's got to enter it in.
Yeah, that helps.
Husker Du.
What do you think, Doug?
Take a shot, Doug.
WHO''S.
I think that.
DOAH.
Sorry,
I
Doug.
think that's it, isn't it?
Close. Sorry, Doug. HUSKERDU. 2 words.
It means, do you remember?
I think it's pronounced Husker Duh.
Oh, my
mistaken,
God.
but I'm a Mats fan, so.
Doug, let's try this one. Next up is In Excess.
INE.
Doug. Songbird Doug.
INXS.
All right. Give this one a try. Mr. Doug.
Tony's working overtime over here.
Abba.
Here we go, Doug.
The Beatles.
Who?
The Beatles.
The Beatles from Liverpool, England.
The THAEBABEATLES.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, the was.
Doug, sorry.
shaky,
Spell the again, please.
THE.
There you go.
Okay.
All right.
Is that right?
Bang.
Okay.
You got the Beatles. All right, you're 1 for 4, Doug. Let's get this one. You're 2 for 5. You're in the clubhouse with the lead if you get this. Well, either way.
All right, your last one is the Black Crowes.
THE.
Yes.
BLACKS CROWS.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
No, sorry, the Crows, there's an E in there for reasons that to this day remain a mystery.
Yeah. Black's Crows.
Sorry
Oh,
to
my
say.
God.
Yeah.
And that's your old band. I'm sorry.
No, that's quite all right. I thought you were going to spell it the Black Rose. I was waiting for that one. So, Doug, 1 for 5. Again, rest easy knowing that you're a hell of a singer, if not a great speller, but hope is not lost. Believe me, this is a tough one. We're going to put you on hold for a sec, Doug. Let's go to caller number 2. Who we got?
caller number 2 from Elk River is Colby, who is lactose intolerant.
Colby, good morning.
This is Wheel of Fortune.
Morning, everyone.
Are you a karaoke fan, Colby?
I am, yes.
All right. Got an idea for what you might sing if you get on the boat?
Oh, boy, I'd probably go with something stupid and classic like Piano Man or...
Oh, sure.
Yeah, always a good call.
Yeah. We'll make love to our tonics and gin while you sing. We'll do that very happily. Colby, you got to spell some band names for us. Quizmaster General Tony Lee at the helm. Good luck, sir.
All right, Mr. Cheese, we're going to start you out. Your first one is Def Leppard. Spell Def
Leppard. DEFLEPPARD.
Ooh, I like the double P.
Right out of the gate.
Bam. All right, you're tied right now with Doug, Colby. Keep it up.
Next up is Leonard Skinnerd.
Leonard Skinnerd. LYNRDSKYNRD.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, you got to add the Y.
Close.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Forgot the Y.
The Y.
Why?
The forgotten Y.
Why?
Why?
Why me, Lord?
Number 3, I'm going to give you The Monkees.
The Monkees.
Hey, hey.
Do I have to spell the?
Yes, of course.
Okay. THEMONKEES.
There it is.
Oh, boy.
The Monkees.
All right.
Didn't fall for that trap.
All right. Couple more. Well, he's already won. Motley Crue.
Motley Crue. MOTLEYCRUE.
There it is.
Nice.
You know, Mick Mars had a band in Seattle 10 years before they started the L.A. Motley Crue, also called Motley Crue, but it was spelled C-R-E-W.
Really?
Yeah.
They were smarter.
He was hanging on to that name for a long time.
The Seattle kids are bright.
Yeah. He's like 104 now, by the way, Mick Mars.
Yeah,
All right,
he
one
looked
more.
104 in the 80s band.
That's right.
Good point.
One more, Colby. Let's have it.
We'll close you out with a little difficult one. Uriah Heep. Uriah Heep.
URIAH HEEP.
Nice job.
Very nice.
Colby, man.
A whole heap of Uriah.
Yeah, Colby, if not for an errant Y and Leonard would have run the table. Well done, sir. You got 4 for 5. That's going to put you on the KQ Karaoke Cruise June 21st. Doug, wonderful singing, sir. I'm sorry, as of right now, we're not going to hear you sing on the boat, but, tickets are available. If you want to purchase a ticket, we'd love to see you. Thanks for playing, both of you guys.
Sorry, Doug.
See, gentlemen.
That's so Minnesotan.
Quite
Sorry,
affordable.
Doug.
Yeah.
Well, you can, take Doug. I was really looking forward to hearing some Neil Young, genuinely, because the dude can sing, and, mix it up between the Bon Jovis and the Billy Joels. Nice to sneak something classy in there,
Absolutely something classy in there. That's a good effort right there. I like the band spelling bee.
It was pure fun.
Yeah, it is pure fun.
I would have gotten several of them wrong, I think. Yeah.
I just noticed a text on the KQ Talking text line. Please mention the Minnesota Professional Women's Hockey League won the first trophy against Boston yesterday. We did.
Please get up earlier. We
opened the show with that story, and I'll mention it again. We are the champions. The Minnesota Women's Hockey League. I'm sorry. The Professional Women's Hockey League first ever title last night, won by the team from Minnesota over those pesky Bostons, the Minnesota Minnesotans, with the championship. Very, very well played. I saw a tweet from there's a bar in town called A Bar of Their Own that just shows women's sports, and they were raucously celebrating that win last night, having a great time. So that's exciting. Like I said before, it's you got to celebrate the championships wherever they come from in any sport.
Yeah.
If the table tennis champion at the Olympics this summer is from Minnesota, we'll give them any winner you get, man, hoist it high. It's good stuff.
Yeah, we've had a lot of individual champions, and Olympic gold for that. But for our talking about our professional sports teams, this is a big one. It's a great one. And, you know what I'm going to be watching next year? Now, they're the Minnesota Minnesotans?
That's just what I call them. They don't have team names yet. They just go by the location.
Oh, they really don't?
No, they don't.
I just see it says Minnesota on the jersey. Well, they earned themselves a team name, and, pretty cool. Very cool.
I think it's absolutely very cool. Have you ever left a note for a neighbor or like on a car or anything? You ever leave a note for somebody?
No, I've received one.
Have you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I left one note on a car. It was a poorly parked vehicle, like taken just right on the dead center of the line at a Home Depot parking lot, taking up 2 spaces. And it was a Prius of all things. And they had all these stickers. They had Free Tibet and a couple of Buddhist sayings and all this, and coexist, the whole thing. And then I wrote a note. I said, the Dalai effing Lama himself could park better than this.
Nice. Unga dunga, unga lunga.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I wanted to stick around and wait for the person to come out and see that note, but I didn't have time. But I was always very proud of myself. I thought, I'm going to leave it at one note. I peaked early.
So they go sit in a tree and just wait.
But the lost art of leaving a note behind for somebody. Let's examine. Let's see what we're all missing out on. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talking text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Thursday, May the 30th. We will rock you. We are the champions. That goes for the Professional Women's Hockey League champions from Minnesota. Last night, they beat those pesky Bostonians. And for the first time ever, the Professional Women's Hockey League has a champion, and that is the team from right here in Minnesota. Congratulations to that team. It's a great way to start a new league when your backyard team wins the whole thing. Queen, We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions. I love the idea that Brian May wrote that song, We Will Rock You, thinking about audiences. They'd go to Queen, he's on stage with Queen, and they notice that the audience loves to sing along. They like to clap. They like to stomp. And he thought, well, I'm just going to write a song that gives it to them. Like, it's the whole thought was, let's have crowd participation. So he just comes up with this song and he plays it. He gets a loose sketch of it, a demo version, and Freddie Mercury hears it and goes, oh, I got an idea. I think I got a song that might match with that nicely. And the next day Freddie comes in and goes, oh, I wrote this. It's called We Are the Champions. Like That's a good band when one guy has We Will Rock You and the next day the guy goes, this will fit, and there's We Are the Champions. That's good. That's a good sign that you're on the right track.
Came a little easier for some bands than others, didn't it?
I'd say it did. That's effective communication between those two right there. That's the key to any small group of people. If you're on the same page, you can accomplish anything you put your mind to. It's that same page that's the hard part. But and really in any group, it's all about communication, clear lines, and sometimes in the old days anyway, the best way to communicate with somebody was by leaving a note. At least if you're not the confrontational sort. I said earlier, I left one note on a windshield once, a bad parking job at a Home Depot parking lot, and I let them have it. And I thought, that's kind of weird. The weirdest part about leaving a note for somebody is what if they walked up as you're leaving it? Then I'd be like, oh, God, now I got to. Do you read it to them? Do you just put it in your pocket?
Or you pretend it was your shopping list and you're just editing it on the fly.
All right. Yeah. Or I was just removing this rude note from your car.
Man, I've never, I've had notes left for me at home at the door, but it's like there'll be a note from a neighbor. It'll say, hey, here's some mail that came to me accidentally last week. Sorry, just found it, or whatever, right. Stuff like that.
Pull your shades.
Had a neighbor, I had a neighbor once those are not blackout shades. I had a neighbor once who the note said, please enjoy some fresh tomatoes. She grew tomatoes and she left them, and I was always like, that's so nice. Thank you. Thank you for the tomatoes. But notes from neighbors, almost always though, they kind of go. It's not because someone's going, hey, you're a great guy. It's usually more something like this one. This is a note. Think you may have had a package delivery by your side door. I saw some porch pirates steal it. I would have stopped them if you'd been nicer neighbors.
What?
And then signed Gary, just so you know exactly who's leading this.
Yeah, some people don't shy away from it. They run, head on into it. Gary wants you to know.
Yeah. I like this one. This was left on a windshield. I hit your car. I'm sorry. There's only a scratch on the back left panel. But because you looked rich, I'm not leaving my number. Sorry.
You looked rich.
I know of somebody who's told me this, and it's what people do, which is if you ding somebody with your door, if you back into a car, you get out and leave the note. So in case anyone's watching, they see you leave the note. But it's just a random note.
Or it's
exactly what happened here. Yeah, Paul messages in. My friend's dad had a note left on his car in a parking lot. His car had been backed into and damaged, and the note read, I'm only leaving this note because some people saw me hit your car. Right. No other info. Just making it look good.
How about this one? And this is like pre-printed. You can tell it's not handwritten. It looks like almost calligraphy. This is a note left on a car. Dear MFer, spelled out. You park like an a-hole. I hope your children get hooked on drugs.
Oh, in this really beautiful font.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah. Man, that's pretty strong right there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
What are you going to do? I like this one. Ohio Avenue neighbors. I put a cute love note on what I thought was my wife's car last night. We figured out today that in my tired state, I had put this note on the wrong car. If this car happened to be yours, I apologize for the confusion. I am not in love with you. Sorry.
Oh, what a letdown.
I'm over you.
Thought you had a secret stalker, but no, not so much. You don't know your wife's car. Well, could have been dark.
Could have been. Yeah. I just assume when he says, I was tired last night, you mean you were hammered last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you left it on your way out or on your way in?
I'm not really sure.
It's confusing.
It's a lot of Honda Accords on the road.
That's very true. That's true. How about this? Your dog keeps barking. I don't mind the cello or the trombone playing, but the dog barking is getting excessive. Please do something about this or I will.
That's probably why the dog's barking. It's that damn cello and trombone.
Yeah, okay. First of all, you got a guy who, you're blasting out a cello or a trombone, the dog barking. And I like the end of it, the threat. I will do something about this or I will. That doesn't sound like you. What are you going to put the dog down?
Yeah, geez. Talk to the association. Call the building manager.
How about this? Dear neighbors, I apologize for any loud commotion occurring tonight and every night for the next 3 or 4 weeks. I also apologize for my wide vocabulary of slurs and profanities. I recently acquired Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. No need to call the police again.
Yeah.
Sincerely, your next door neighbor. P.S. Invest in some earplugs. Oh, my God.
Love me some Call of Duty. Play it all the time. I said duty. But you've got headphones, man. They come with headphones. Just put the headphones on. But these people that yell during games, I've got buddies like that. You know, we get together and play Madden football or whatever, and they're just super animated, jumping and yelling in an apartment building. I'm thinking, it's a video game. You're not playing the game, man. Calm down.
Yeah, no kidding. On the KQ Talking text line, Wally texted, I knew a guy that had business cards made that said, parking is hard. It's okay. Here's a great way to practice staying inside the lines, and would leave that with restaurant kids menu coloring sheets with crayons.
That's great.
That's very good.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot.
Of course, I'd, park right up to his car just because he left that asinine note, but...
Oh, free crayons.
Yeah.
Someone else texted in, I'm sorry for hitting your car. It was an accident. I don't have insurance. Hopefully this money will help pay the deductible. And I included 5 $100 bills. Come on.
Oh, man.
Really?
No. Really? You must have hit that thing going pretty quick. You weren't just backing out of a space. You were running stop signs if you're leaving $500 behind.
Yeah, wow.
I would think.
That's honorable.
How about this? Dear neighbors, someone in this building loves Christmas music. If that person could please remember that not everyone has the same bizarre taste in music, and that people around them can hear it very clearly and do not appreciate being forced to listen to Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas and every other song at 7 a.m. in March. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
I can understand that one. Yeah.
Here's my favorite of all of them. This was left on a front yard. Eric, we know it's you throwing cheese on our roof. Please stop.
Oddly specific.
Why are you throwing your cheese on the roof, Eric? On their roof? Why? I don't. What's going on? Do you think birds are going to attract up there? Are you punking them, or just trying to get rid of some cheese?
Oh my gosh!
How about this one? On one of the tack boards, probably in the laundry room, right?
Yeah.
One of your cork boards there, and it's pinned up there. Dear potential hot woman. And there's a thong tacked right below it. You left this in the machine earlier. I only know this because when I brought my laundry up, my wife found them and completely flipped her lid. Unfortunately, unlike you, she's a whale and knew they weren't hers.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
The sex I get once a year is now gone. I hope you come back to get what turned my wife into a she-devil guy in. Yeah, I can't read who it's signed by, just dude. But yeah, they're a very sexy, lacy black thong.
I learned, much younger in life that when you're in a public laundromat, you definitely got to look in that dryer and make sure you're not bringing home something that ain't yours. Yeah, same exact thing. Several items over the years. You just be like, I didn't have anything like that, like a thong or a panty, but just a T-shirt, just a pair of socks.
That's all it takes.
And it would take me a day to. I just feel like that is so weird, and then I realized, oh wait, I did laundry the other day. It was just in there the whole time. That happens. I
got a note one time, condo living in South Minneapolis, and apparently my bedroom wall, shared a wall with their bedroom wall, and I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and those were the days when I needed a little extra to get out of bed. Maybe I was still out raising a little bit of hell at night, and I needed the super loud, just the loudest alarm you could find, that one.
Yeah.
And apparently the lady that lived next to me did not like waking up to that every morning at 3 a.m. And sometimes I would lay there and it would go off for about 3 minutes before I'd be like, what's going on? Am I in an air raid? Oh, no, it's frickin' Thursday morning and time to go to work. So I got it. I ended up actually moving my bedroom out into the living room, and then my living room became the bedroom. It's a condo. I could do that for her, but I thought, what a horrible way to wait. She wrote that in her note. It's a horrible way to wake up in the middle of the night, and I agreed. I empathized, yeah.
We the first time I moved into a house with a bunch of guys in a band, we had there were members of two bands living in this house, so both bands rehearsed in the living room, and to one side of the house was a vacant lot, and to the other side was a single dude who was an old man at the time, probably early 30s, but he was old to us, and I never knew really what he did other than he kept very late hours, and I saw him one day, and I was like, "Hey, sorry if the noise from the band, we're playing," and we would rehearse like in the afternoons. We weren't over there at night much, we wouldn't do it late at night. And I said, "Hey, I hope that's not too loud." And I just remember he goes, "Well, if you guys could just start a little later, that'd be great." And I was like, "We're playing at like 3 p.m. He's like, "Yeah, just wait till like 5 when I'm up." And I was like, he's either the coolest guy ever or he's got some problems. And I couldn't really tell. Yeah. It's really important to peruse the neighborhood before you plug in that amp the first time. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and text line. We have a caller, Tony. Who's on the horn?
We do. Kim from St. Michael has a tale to tell.
Kim, good morning.
Morning.
What do you got for us?
I found pennies in my dryer at an apartment complex, and I knew who was in the wash before me. I went down and delivered them, and it, dinner and some other things, apartment friends. Truth of the story is, I was waiting for the dryer. I thought, I took those panties and I put them in my dryer so that I could take them down there. So if you live in an apartment building and you want to pick up the not sexually hot girl, her underwear.
He was cutting out a little bit.
I think I'm picking up what he's putting down.
I don't really recommend it. I mean, come on, But back in the day, I was thinking, here's a way I can, an icebreaker.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for laundry. She was hot. So I seen her putting her stuff in the dryer, and I thought, well, I'll just take those, put them in my wash.
You sly fox, you, Kim. And did it work? Did you end up getting together?
We didn't date. I mean, we didn't per se date. We became apartment friends with benefits,
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn straight, brother.
Worked out really good. I mean, I'd seen her, and I couldn't figure out how to break the ice with her. And then that day, that worked. Like I say, I don't recommend it. That's kind of creepy, but it's kind of funny.
Well, I mean, creepy and flattering, and more importantly, it worked.
As long as the word "kinda" is involved,
Yeah.
Kind of creepy, kind of funny. That happens.
I mean, most people would just, throw them up on the counter in the laundry room. But I went down, knocked on their door, and I had them on my finger, kind of, hey, these aren't mine,
I mean, yeah, you're either going to get kicked in the crotch or, she's going to take it the right way. And, you got lucky.
Already crossed that line. She knows that you can picture her in those underwear. So you're already past you've already started that. Oh.
Yeah, sure. It all checks out. Kim, thank you for the call, brother. We appreciate it.
See, if I would have watched that unfold in a movie, I would have thought, well, that's something that can only happen in a movie. That wouldn't work in real life. But Kim, was able to pull it off.
Here's another one. Speaking of laundry, hey, please do not leave your stuff in the dryer forever.
Oh, I hate that.
In the time I waited to see if you would move your stuff, I started a career, got married, started a family, moved to the country, became a grandfather, and retired all in the nude because I couldn't dry my clothes. So I decided to move your stuff. Sorry, I don't know how to fold sheets, but I tried.
Especially the fitted ones.
Yeah, that's that was always the thing with me when you're at the laundromat and you think, well, I probably got like 20 minutes. I'll just run out and grab a beer or whatever you're gonna do. There's always there's duds and suds type of places around. But I was always terrified of having that cycle end, especially the dryer, and then not getting back. I never wanted to walk back in and see my stuff just left on a countertop somewhere, because then you look like the jerk. But then you also spend the rest of the week going, am I missing a sock? Am I missing a T-shirt? Oh my God. Is the stress involved with the laundromat scene. Always brutal. Who else we got on the phone, Tony?
Oli from Blaine is checking in.
Oli, good morning.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
What's up?
Quick story. My wife and I lived in an apartment building, and I used to play softball, and she was doing the laundry, and she realizes that my favorite softball pants are missing when she pulls them out of the dryer.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes out and buys me a new pair thinking I won't notice. And I'm like, oh, new softball pants, that's great. I really didn't notice. But then about a week later, she's out in the hallway, and she sees this guy wearing my old softball pants. He stole them out of the dryer.
Son of a...
And she laid into him, and I was hiding behind the door listening because I didn't want to get into a tussle, and it was pretty hilarious. You know, big brave kid here.
Tussle.
Oh, you know, what do you do?
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thanks for the call, man.
Hey, thank you know.
Joe,
so you steal them out of the apartment dryer and then wear them around the apartment? That takes some nuts, man.
Yeah, speaking of which, Joe texted, I got a note on my truck saying, you park like crap. P.S. I put my nuts on your door handle.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Come on.
Yeah.
That's a rough one.
But if you had caught someone doing that, you know, not just leaving the note, but nutsack out in the parking lot on the door handle. I mean, I'm trying to think. That's okay.
Chilly.
Yeah, you could do it. Yeah, you're right. Chilly. And yeah, I guess it's about the same height, isn't it? I was thinking of my truck originally, but it's probably a car.
Probably a car. Let's hope. I mean, because if it's like a big, tundra, then you got a guy who's either it's a Yeti who's rubbing his nuts on your door, or it's someone who's just walking around with a footstool. Either case, you don't want to mess with that guy.
Yeah, right.
In a little less than an hour from right now, we're going to be joined in studio by Randy Santel, who's a competitive eater who has put down more food than most of us could ever imagine, and he does it on a regular basis. A pretty fascinating life he's leading. We're going to catch up with him. And then, by the way, you see a bear in the driveway, just let it do its thing. Just leave it there. Let's not chase bears, shall we? A local woman and her fun with not one or two, but 3 bears. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show, Thursday, May the 30th. In about 30 minutes, Randy Santel is going to join us. We talked about him yesterday, a competitive eater who's in the area for a few days, just strapping on a feed bag and putting a lot of people to shame. A fascinating way to go about your business. I look forward to speaking with him. A Maple Grove woman is probably still trying to get her heart rate to slow down after she had quite an encounter Tuesday night with 3 little bears, although they're not so little, really, when they come up in your driveway. Check this out.
Home in Maple Grove getting some unexpected guests last night. Check it out. Security cameras capture 3 bears strolling around their driveway just past 8 o'clock. The family dog, though, not too fond of the visitors. The dog running over to the bears as they were going through the trash cans. Bad idea. Homeowner Bailey Jacobson says the bears chased after the dog for a bit. You can see it down the driveway there, but then turned their attention toward her.
So it definitely kind of lunged at me, and I was like probably 35 to 40 feet from the bear. And I was like, well, I got to run too, I guess. So it was definitely a dual-headed thing where Zeus was running and I was running.
We do know everyone, animal and human, got away safely with bears eventually running back into the woods. But this whole thing could have been much worse.
All right.
3 bears, 3 black bears in your trash cans, and then Zeus, the German Shepherd, goes out there and stirs them all up a bit. If you see the video, there is a moment when the bear and the dog are sort of squaring off, and she's like, it's like that defensive move, bluff and get away, bluffing. She's like, step forward, step back, step forward. She's like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I love Chauncey Gorman. I'm looking at him right now. He's asleep at my feet. Chauncey, me, and the bear, I'm just getting the hell out of there. Like, dude, I love you. I truly love you. But I'm not going to get in between you and a bear.
The dog, your German Shepherd there has a much better chance against the bear than you do if that bear were to turn on you. But I get it. It's just, that's Bailey. She's passionate, and she just went into mom mode there, got to protect her baby dog, Zeus.
That's it.
And I would add, though, and, Maple Grove, that's out there far enough. I know it seems weird, but bears are coming in closer and closer to the metro all the time. You hear about them. There was one in a wading pool, and I forget which suburb it was in last year. Just came up onto someone's deck and laid down in the wading pool.
Just cooling off.
Yeah, just cooling off. It happened up at Duluth, but that garbage, you got to seal it. Don't take that garbage out until they're ready to come pick it up, and that's what they like to get into. You got to secure that garbage because they're going to find that and come on in for some snacks.
Man, the teddy bear really, really threw everything off with humans and bears. I mean, we just grew up thinking bears are cuddly and fun, and they're just literal monsters.
Yeah, well, they can be, especially when they want to eat, right?
That's what I'm saying.
They're not like any different than us. Don't get between me and my food. I might bite you. I'm certainly going to growl at you. But by the way, you know where the teddy bear came from? I happened to be in a hotel in Colorado. And they said, "Oh, this is the home of that teddy bear." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, is it?" But I was waiting for my coffee, so I had to hear the whole story. Not bad. But Theodore Roosevelt, our president at the time, was there bear hunting. And I brought along his entire stuff. Oh, you guys know the story?
I know of it.
Oh,
please continue.
No, just that. I guess since I started, I should finish it. Not everybody knows, but they've been out for several days, and he hadn't seen a bear, and he came back to the hotel and wasn't feeling very good. A bit bummed out. No bears, and so the ladies thought it would be fun to sew him up a little bear. They used some fabric from one of the chairs there and sewed him up a little bear and gave it to him. And at dinner, in which they said the president was greatly amused and had a good laugh. As they were leaving, they took a big picture on the steps of the Hotel Colorado in Glenwood Springs, if you're ever there, buy a teddy bear. And he gave it to his little niece that was with him on the trip, and she had it in her arms, and she named it Teddy after Theodore. Anyway, it was on the picture on the cover of every newspaper in the country with every kid saying, "I want one of those." The teddy bear was born.
And of course, the little girl, when she's like, "Thank you, Uncle Teddy. You're a loser. You didn't get a real bear." And then they kept that part out of the story.
Yeah, right.
That's how that goes. We mentioned yesterday a member of the Miami Dolphins found a giant, not giant, but a very large iguana in his toilet down in Florida. And just because that's not enough, because there's never enough animals in toilet stories for this show.
No.
A woman in Russia walked into her bathroom and found in her toilet not just a boa constrictor, but an albino boa constrictor, just to make it even creepier.
Yeah.
A white boa constrictor coming out of her toilet bowl. She slammed the toilet down, called emergency services. I mean, there's photos. This is a real thing. The guys show up. They're like, "Oh, yeah, must have clawed through the pipes. It lives in the building. It's escaped in the past before it's an apartment building." And someone has a big-ass albino boa constrictor that every now and again gets loose.
Wow. Yeah, I would get it loose from its head if it popped up in my toilet. I'm sorry. Keep your snake in your frickin' own apartment, man.
Because I am such a snake phobe, I'm on the snake algorithm. My Instagram feed just brings up snake, because I always have to watch snake videos and get freaked out. I feel like if I watch all the snake videos I can, then I'm prepared not to be snuck up on by a snake.
Face your fear.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like true crime. It's like, no one's ever, it's like people listen because they're like, I gotta stay on my toes, keep a swivel head. I watch snake videos all the time. They all freak me out. And so they pop into my feed, and I saw one the other day, and it shows there's a snake that is just like at that moment somehow lost its head. Literally, it's beheaded, and the body is still twitching, and the body bumps into the head, and the severed head opens its jaws and bites the body. It's still you can be bitten by a snake head that is detached from its body, and then the body goes into the body starts freaking out. Its own head bit it.
Yeah.
I watched it like 4 times and almost threw up every time.
That's bizarre.
We wonder why these things got associated with Satan.
Gee, I can't imagine how that happened. In Colorado, a police officer was doing his duty, searching the trailheads. They have a million trails out west. A place called Prospect Park in Wheat Ridge, outside of Denver. And as you mentioned earlier, Zep, trailheads, people park, they go hiking, they go up into the woods. Great place for thieves because there's a bunch of cars left behind. And so police doing their job, they make the rounds, they search around, they make sure, things are kosher in the parking lots. A cop the other day walks up upon a car and he sees drug paraphernalia just in the car, just like, I don't know what it was, probably a bong or a pipe of some sort, right there on the front seat. And he's thinking, and goes, well, man, okay, someone's not even trying to hide it. And as he's looking at this car, an Uber pulls up and a dude jumps out of an Uber, and it's his car. Like the driver had been away via Uber, now returned to his car, sees the police officer. And the officer says, hey, I want to take a look through your car. The guy says, yeah, go for it. Gives him consent to do the search. The body cam is on this officer, and here's the audio of him as he's searching through a car after seeing some drug paraphernalia.
Yo, you got a rattlesnake in here? You kidding me? Live rattlesnake in this bin. Yeah, it's rattling at me.
Yeah, the bin in the back seat lifts the lid, a rattlesnake.
Son of a bitch didn't mention that when he said go ahead and search the car, did he?
Yeah, during the search, he does find drugs. He does find a gun, but then a live rattlesnake in a large plastic bin. I'm sorry, the drugs and the gun, whatever. The rattlesnake, Come on, man. If that's your security system, you got to rethink some things.
Yeah, right.
I mean, if you're thinking as I'm driving around with dope and guns, I'll need a snake for protection. You're missing the point. The rattlesnake doesn't recognize you as owner and benefactor. It recognizes you as I might bite that guy if he gets too close.
Yeah, you're on dope, dude. You're going to just forget you have a freaking rattlesnake back there. And I'm still trying to piece together, it doesn't say in the story, why he arrived back at the trailhead in an Uber. So you parked at a trailhead
yeah,
where you go hiking or biking.
Oh, I know what it is.
Yeah.
Here's my theory. It's like a Rosie Ruiz Boston Marathon situation. He got to the trailhead. He and several friends parked, and they all took off, and they said, okay, you take that route, I'll take this route. They all agreed to like a 7-mile hike, and we'll see who gets back here first. And dude just hopped out, got an Uber, went into town, had a couple of beers, and came back ready to say, I got back first. I did my 7-mile hike quicker than you.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I'm exhausted. And that maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, maybe the drugs were for the snake, to keep it calm.
Man, if there was such a drug that just universally calmed down snakes, I'd never leave home without it, just to be prepared.
Cold weather, I guess, slows them down.
Yo, you got a rattlesnake in here? You kidding me? Live rattlesnake in this bin. Yeah, it's rattling at me.
I saw an old family photo of my brother when he was probably 10 with a boa constrictor around his neck. A neighbor had a boa constrictor, and he would walk around, and we'd all be like, ah, and he put it around my brother's neck, and he posed for the photo. And I was asked at that time, do you want to have the boa constrictor around your neck? And I just didn't say a word. I just was like, And I guess they could tell I was a little uncomfortable. But I didn't say yes. I didn't say no. They just eventually didn't put the snake around my neck. Mm-hmm. And if my memory serves, that's the last time that I peed myself. I was literally standing there just like the idea of that snake going around my neck. I was 8 or maybe 9. And yes, Virginia, there was a pee. Just terrified, man.
You could have never been in Alice Cooper's band.
No, not a chance. Not a chance.
Yeah.
Offered and turned it down straight up. I said, just tell me those snakes are props.
Right.
I was not actually offered that gig. I you know what? I might have to endure if Alice calls and says, do you want to come on tour? Just for the golf opportunities alone, I might have to endure the snakes. It might be worth it. ZZ Top toured in the 70s before they were like the cartoon character global icons of the Eliminator and post era. They were just that little old band from Texas. Big band playing arenas in the late 70s, but they weren't like, MTV darlings yet. And they didn't have the giant beards yet. But they did a tour. They were playing arenas they had a live rattlesnake on stage.
Yeah, they had live.
They had steer.
Too,
they had actual longhorn steer on stage, and they had a guy with a rattlesnake in like a bin, like some cactus. Yeah, just bring a little bit of Texas to you here in Minneapolis.
That's great.
Traveling around with rattlesnakes for your stage show. Oh man, that's
Holy
good.
Crap! It's like surreal.
This is as good as it gets around for as far as audio goes. From a cop in Colorado finding a rattlesnake during a search to a gentleman in Michigan who has a virtual court hearing. Okay, here's the story. His name's Corey Harris. He had basically a Zoom call to appear in front of a judge. Now, Corey has been in trouble because his license has been suspended for quite a while, and he was picked up last year for driving with a suspended license. So now he's got to appear in front of the judge to determine what happens next. Your license was suspended, and then you got popped for driving while carrying a suspended license, and now he appears in front of the judge. So it's a Zoom call. The judge is in court. Corey's public defender is in court. Corey is going to call in via Zoom, and this is what it sounded like.
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. I'm parking right now.
This is a driver while license suspended?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And he was just driving, and he didn't have a license.
That is with the charges, Your Honor, yes.
He's suspended, and he's just driving.
That is correct, Your Honor.
I don't even know why he would do that. So, defendant's bond is revoked in this matter. Defendant is to turn himself into the Washington County Jail by 6 p.m. today. Failure to turn himself in will result in a bench warrant with no bond.
Oh, my.
I'm not saying Corey's getting a little casual, a little used to being in the court setting where he just forgot that, that's right. What am I in court for today? What am I appearing on this Zoom court call for? That's right, the suspended license. You barely caught it if you watch the video, and you can quickly find it today with a Google search. But if you watch the video, in the middle where he goes, and he's driving, you see Corey go, where it just hits him like, crap.
Oops.
Right, he's right.
Oops. I mean, that's like isn't there like a Warren Beatty movie where he's in bed with a woman, the door opens, and she goes, I can't believe it. He goes, this isn't happening. There's a line. If it's not Warren Beatty, it's something from the 70s, and I probably thought it was Warren Beatty. But that's what this guy's saying. It's like, dude, you could have pulled over anywhere along the way between your house and the doctor's appointment and just gotten out on the sidewalk and just been, you're on. No, I'm walking to my doctor's appointment. You just anything.
Say anything.
Literally, from your freaking doctor's appointment. This is my doctor. I'm sitting here with him. But talk about bad timing, These things are scheduled. You get the call, I guess.
I like the idea that he's literally like, I'm going to be on time. I'm responsible here. I'm not going to be late for this Zoom call.
Just fesses right up,
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. I'm parking right now.
This is a driver while license suspended?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And he was just driving, and he didn't have a license.
That is with the charges, Your Honor, yes.
He's suspended, and he's just driving.
That is correct, Your Honor.
I don't even know why he would do that. So, defendant's bond is revoked in this matter. Defendant is to turn himself into the Washington County Jail by 6 p.m. today. Failure to turn himself in will result in a bench warrant with no bond.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Oh, idiot. Jeez, stupid. Yeah, I bet he probably drove himself down to the jail. Well, at that point, why not,
Well, sure. I mean, no kidding. I mean, go buy a new car while you're at it. Hell. Imagine the judge. Like, it does take a quick second. You're like, wait, hold on. What is this? What's on the docket now? Suspended license, driving, and he's
At least come up with, I'm going to the doctor because it's an emergency. I couldn't find someone to drive me or wait for an Uber. But he was just, that's right.
The only thing that tops that I've seen lately is a gentleman in Pennsylvania who was arrested for drunk driving instructing. Meaning this. Cop sees a car driving very erratically, pulls it over. There's a 14-year-old boy behind the wheel. Police officer walks up. He's like, what's going on? Do you have a license? And the kid's like, no, I'm getting a driving lesson. The dude's uncle, or it says a family member, could be a cousin, could be an older brother. A 39-year-old gentleman in the passenger seat is giving the kid a driving lesson, and the 39-year-old gentleman is hammered with a capital drunk. The officer asks that gentleman to get out of the car. He does, and immediately starts dancing down the middle of the road. That's how drunk he was. And literally giving the kid a driving lesson.
I bet he wasn't dancing the next morning.
What is the family? I'm picturing the family moment. Someone says, "Why don't you let your uncle teach you to drive right now?" Okay, sure. Uncle Mike, let's go. Uncle, unspecified family member dude was charged with public drunkenness, corruption of minors, and endangering the welfare of children. So, yeah, the lesson, as always, when you're hammered, don't teach someone else to drive, especially when they're too young to be being taught how to drive.
All right, noted.
What the hell's going on in Pennsylvania? Jeez.
Right, a lot.
By the way, real quick, we talked briefly. One thing I didn't mention, we talked about the spelling bee that's going on, and Google shared a list of every state in the union, the most searched how to spell word. Minnesota, more people last year wrote, how do you spell clothes, as in like clothing, clothes. The number one search in the state of Maryland was the word Pennsylvania. It's right next door. Yeah. Literally right next door. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talking text line. We got a caller?
Yeah. Oh, before we grab him, you were talking about spelling it. Terry Train, our dear friend, just sent a text saying, I lost a spelling bee. It was the 5th grade championship. The word was wrist. She said, I forgot the W. Still hurts. R-I-S-T.
I feel your pain, Terry. I lost the 5th grade spelling bee on the word ancient, and I knew it. But, and I still remember. I mean, I can close my eyes. I'm there. ANCHIENT. And as soon as I put the H there, I was like, "What are you doing?"
Oh, damn.
So pissed at myself.
Little Stevie. Well, we have Bill from Pine City on hold.
Bill, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
What's up?
You were talking about some of these bad drivers, instructors, and stuff.
Yep.
We had a really creepy one in high school, and everybody knew it. I don't know how he didn't end up in prison, because we would all pile into the driver's ed car, and anytime a girl was driving, he'd reach over and he'd say, "Oh no, don't use that leg for the brake. You need to use this leg," and he'd rub the inner thigh.
No.
Whoa.
Cut that out, mister.
He gave a lot more driving time to all the girls who wore skirts and had bare legs. And so he would, really creepy guy. And they never fired the guy. It was crazy. But
any dads ever beat him to within an inch of his life?
Yeah, but this was like his wife was so bad. I was driving one time, and he goes, "Follow that car, follow that car," and I'm following the car, and it was his wife, and she said, "What's wrong?" He goes, "I told you cannot drive the car until I fix it," and he's screaming and hollering at her, and because the left turn signal was broken. And she said, "I only made right-hand turns." He goes, "I don't care. I don't care if you only made right-hand turns. You cannot drive the car." It was crazy. But years ago, I went and hauled mail part-time when I was going to school, and I had to take a driver's test down there in St. Paul at the headquarters. And the guy there was like Sam Kinison. This guy was nuts. I mean, he'd be standing in front of the classroom screaming and hollering and banging on the blackboard when he's yelling about stuff that wasn't even pertaining to the class. It was just politics in general. He was a Vietnam vet. And I think he was just screaming at the class. And I was driving, and I was driving, and you had to sign a waiver. If you didn't sign the waiver, you couldn't take the road test. And the signing the waiver said if you flunked the road test, you can't ask why. So you never found out why.
All right.
Yeah, how are you supposed to know? All right,
the good old days when nobody followed up anything. Hey, you know what? We got to jump, brother. I'm sorry to cut you off, but we appreciate the call. That's all very good stuff.
The two guys in front of me flunked, and they didn't know why.
All righty. Thank you for the call, bro. We got to jump. I just had a quick memory of walking downtown in high school and hearing a car honk, looking over and seeing a kid named Chuck King. He's like, "Yo, Gorman!" And he's blasting music and he's pointing at me. He was on his driver's test doing that. Oh. And yeah, it was pretty great when he came back. He goes, "I just got my license." I was like, "You were listening to music and honking and yelling at me on your test?" Small town living. Hey, we've got a competitive eater named Randy Santel. He's in the area right now with some amazing feats of whatever you call that. I can't wait to talk with him. He's joining us in studio. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talking text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Thursday, May the 30th. All right. In studio with us right now, Randy, is it Santel or Santel?
Randy Santel, yes.
Randy Santel. We spoke about Randy at length yesterday. A competitive eater, a man who put down a barbecue challenge for the ages just a few days ago here in the Twin Cities area. I have it right in front of me. You were at Up and Smoke Barbecue in St. Cloud, I should say.
Yes.
And in 45 minutes, you did a full rack of barbecue ribs, a pound of beef brisket, half-pound pulled pork, half-pound pulled chicken, 3 whole chicken wings, 2 pieces of cornbread, and 2 one-pound sides, and you walked in here under your own strength.
Well, let me say that racks come in different sizes, and that was a big barbecue rack of ribs. It was like a 3.5 to 4 pound rack.
I thought you were going to say, but don't worry, it was a tiny rack. No, you went the other direction.
No,
it was
huge.
A big one. Randy, I have so many questions. We all do. So forgive our ignorance. We're flying blind.
That's all right.
How does one get into the world of competitive eating? Were you just naturally a big eater? I mean, as quickly, I don't need the 30-minute story, but how do you go from, I really like to eat a little more than my friends, to suddenly you're able to do this?
Well, I've always been a big eater.
Okay.
I played high school football back in the day in St. Charles, Missouri, near St. Louis. But I was, my very first job was at Subway. I was a sandwich artist, and I used to eat 3 double meat footlongs every time I worked.
Whoa, man.
Yeah. So
really?
I always knew that I
And you were how old?
It would have been my first job, so like 15.
As a high school kid, you're doing 3 double meat footlongs in a shift.
Yeah, and my mother and father were very happy that I had a job in the food service.
They were. You saved them a fortune.
Yes. Yeah, so fast forward to, I played college football in Springfield, Missouri at Missouri State University.
Right.
And I knew I could eat then, too. I've always been able to eat. And then in 2010, did you ever watch the show Spartacus? It was on the Stars Network.
I never did.
Okay, well, they sponsored a body transformation contest along with Men's Health Magazine.
Okay.
Where you had 12 weeks to basically do the best transformation you could. I found out about it late and only had 8 weeks, but I still took my before and after photos. And then in 2010, March, I took my final photos, which I ended up winning the contest.
Nice.
I got a trip out to Auckland, New Zealand. It was my first time out of the country to be on the set of Spartacus, but 1 week after taking the final photos, my buddy had invited me to do a pizza challenge that he lost previously in St. Louis. It was called the Pointersaurus, 28 inches, 11 pounds, 2 meat toppings, and we had 1 hour to finish. We ended up doing it in like 53 minutes, and we won. We got the $50 pizza for free. We got a check for $500 and then sweet T-shirts, and then I've been pretty much hooked ever since.
First of all, this seems like a magic trick to me because, Randy, I'm a pig. I'm a big eater. I eat until I hurt, and then I eat a little more to teach myself a lesson. And I don't get the science behind it. I don't get physically how you can get 11 pounds of food into your body. As a doctor x-rayed you and went, dude, you've got, like a stomach the size of a gurney sack or something. I don't know.
Well, I will say that was a team challenge. So my very first one was an 11-pound pizza for 2 people.
Okay.
So I ate about 6 pounds. But there are people that can eat that much. And actually, just a couple weeks ago in Milwaukee, I did, we just moved from Milwaukee, Wisconsin down to Nashville, Tennessee. But my final challenge in Milwaukee was I went for 208 ounces of prime rib.
What the?
So, that makes the barbecue challenge seem a little bit small.
Do you enjoy the food when you eat it?
It was 13 pounds of total, but that includes bone. It took me 1 hour and 54 minutes to do.
Oh, my.
And I will say that I enjoyed the first 6 to 7 pounds.
All right, so you do taste it.
What's the hour, what'd you say, an hour 53? What was it?
Hour and 54 minutes. It's one of the longest food challenges I've ever done.
That's focus.
But it would have been $400 if I failed.
Well,
I did not want to do that.
You don't want to do that. So
at Ward's House of Prime.
So then walk me through the next 2 hours. You got that much food in your, what
there's
happens?
No walking. There was, I got home and I laid down and I sat down and just sat there.
What? I mean,
when you have that much food in you, it's miserable.
I'm the guy on the show that's going to ask the question. You had to know this was coming. You've been asked before, but what are we talking about bowel movement wise here? When it's time to What's happening?
Well, I always say that the colon is only so big. So it's not, if you eat a 72-ounce steak, you don't just poop out 72 ounces.
Right.
So it's more about frequency.
Yeah, sure.
So
you got to keep the pipes.
You got to keep regular. Yeah, that's actually very important, especially because I'm one of the few people that do like back-to-back challenges. Like just the day before the barbecue pizza or the barbecue challenge, I did a pizza in Albertville at Andy's Hometown Pizza.
Yeah.
My buddy that lives in Owatonna, he came up and we split a 30-inch monstrosity pizza that was probably around 12 pounds. We finished that in like 19 minutes. So that was what trained me for the barbecue challenge.
So okay, because we were looking. Yesterday we were talking about you, and we're looking at your Facebook page, and I'm like, wait, this is like every day or two he's posting another one of these. So is it? I mean, as I said, I don't know anything about this world. I see the hot dog thing on the 4th of July, the Nathans. I see those guys every year. That's just hot dogs, and I know that what you're doing is out there, but I had no idea that you could do it multiple times in a week. In my mind, I would have thought, probably once a month he gears up and goes for this.
Well, it was definitely made popular by Adam Richman in the show Man vs. Food.
Okay.
I actually didn't really get my start because of that, but I've been around pretty much since that show. And yeah, most people know about the hot dog contest coming up on July 4th, but in order to actually compete with that organization, you've got to sign a contract, which they kind of try to be your manager, which I just focus on food challenges. I've got, as of last night, I did one in Elmwood, Wisconsin. It was win 1,266. So I've got wins in all 50 states and then 40 countries, and I've been doing YouTube, social media for 14 years now.
Randy, is there a training regimen? I mean, like if you stop lifting weights for a while, you get muscle atrophy. Does that affect your ability to chow?
Well, I will say that just like with weightlifting, there's definitely a genetic component to be able to be eating a lot.
Sure.
But actually, I've got a hat on that says FC. The logo is for foodchallenges.com. So anybody that actually wants tips and advice on how to win before you begin is our motto: train, strategize, dominate. It's got over 100 articles teaching you how to pretty much do everything and even recover. But yeah, we post 2 videos a week on my YouTube channel, but I'll go on trips where I do like 21 in 3 weeks. And then I'll take a couple weeks off. So really, you just have to be ready for the first food challenge of that trip, because each one you do keeps your stomach open, and you just got to pretty much make sure that you drink a lot of water, do some exercise so that you're empty and ready for the next one, which is typically about 20 to 24 hours later.
So if you do that, you go on a 2-3 week, I'll just call it a bender for lack of a better thought.
A binge, yeah.
And then you get home. If you have a week or 10 days where you're not going to do any of these, I assume that happens occasionally.
Oh yeah.
Like you're just at home going about your business. It's like, I got to pay the bills, I got to clean the gutters. You're just having a normal day. How many calories a day are you putting down on a day like that?
Well, I'm very big into cycling. So I still need to eat quite a few calories just to power my 2 or 3 hour spin rides or cycling rides. So I still eat a good amount. But when you're doing the food challenges, it's not always about the calories. It's a lot of just... There's not a whole lot of healthy vegetables, as we'll say. There's not too much fiber with it. So when I'm home, it's usually about less fat than I do with the food challenges, more fiber, and having a lot of water and just letting your stomach and your digestive system rest during that time.
Have you done a food challenge where you literally don't like the food? Like something you would never eat otherwise?
Well, there's not really that many foods I don't like. I've got a very open palate. The only thing I really don't enjoy much is blue cheese.
Okay.
So anything with blue cheese is not enjoyable. But if there's something I don't like, I make sure to eat it early on while I'm fresh, because you don't want to eat 6 pounds of food and then you have to eat something you don't like. And then we use typically diet soda. Like diet soda will help overpower the taste of something you don't like.
Okay.
But
Randy,
go ahead.
Sorry, please. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, with me, with all the stuff that I do to set up my videos and all that, sometimes the food gets a little bit cooled down before I actually start.
Right.
So it's not always the restaurant's fault or anything like that. Sometimes it's just me getting my live stream ready or the video stuff ready. The food cools down a little bit, and it's not always the best then. But I always just make do, and my goal with every video is to make sure the food looks good to promote the restaurant.
Randy, is there a challenge that's gotten the best of you? And if not, what was your toughest challenge?
Oh, there's been challenges that have gotten the best of me. There's actually a challenge in Kansas City that it took me 5 tries to win.
Whoa.
It was a 6.5-pound barbecue sandwich with just a whole bunch of different meats and then 1.5 pounds of crinkle cut fries. And I found out the hard way that the best way to win, 1.5 pounds of crinkle cut fries was very tough to eat when it's dry. So I had to, when I actually won, I ate the fries first.
Oh.
So, but yeah, I've probably got about, like I said, 1,266 wins, and that doesn't include doubled wins. I don't really count challenges that I've beaten before.
Of course not.
So there's quite a few of those as well. But yeah, I've probably got about 50 losses. I've got like a 95% win streak.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's Hall of Fame numbers as far as I can tell. Randy Santel's in the studio with us. Randy Santel, you are on Facebook. You have 2.2 million followers on your Facebook page. And I notice on your bio, registered dietitian nutritionist. So you do know what you're talking about.
Yes.
You were very well aware of this. And here's the most fascinating part of the whole thing, which you mentioned right before we went on air. You are in a relationship with a competitive eater.
I am.
Is this your wife or your girlfriend?
Professional eater, girlfriend. We're going on 4 months, or not 4 months. We're going on 4 years in July.
Big difference.
So yeah, she's 5'2" and really pretty blonde, and people love her videos because when they see me, I'm 6'5", like 300 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm kind of expected to be able to eat that much. But when they watch Katina Eats Kilos is her name, she's on all the different social media as well. But when they look at a 5'2" pretty girl, everybody says, "Oh my gosh, where does that go?"
Katina Eats Kilos.
We met doing a food challenge tour. I invited her on a trip to Alaska. And we spent 3,000 miles in the car together, driving all around Alaska, and we've been dating ever since.
I'm looking at one of her videos right now, and it might answer this question. But what about, do you do spicy foods? Like have you done, say, Indian or Thai or something that's just crazy hot and a food challenge?
I've done them before, but I've learned the hard way that those are very difficult. Yes, they go in hot and they go out hot.
Yeah.
And they're just, the whole time they're in your body, it's not good. In like 2012, I did 12 wings covered in Trinidad Moruga scorpion sauce, and it took me like 6 minutes to eat the wings, and it took me about 2.5 hours to be able to walk out of the bathroom. I had like rashes on my face and stuff like that. I've been kind of scarred ever since. I mostly focus on quantity challenges.
Right, that makes sense.
You must have, with a couple of million followers, and I'm looking at a bunch of your videos here, Randy Santel, Santel, on your YouTube channel. There's always a crowd around, people gather to watch you. You must have, for want of a better word, like groupies or super fans that sort of follow you, right?
There's a lot of people that watch the videos. I always publish my schedule in advance for people to come, and it's always neat. Even like this summer, we're going to Scandinavia for like 5 or 6 weeks.
Wow!
And there's people there that have been watching for years, and we'll be able to meet them at the events that we do. So it's a lot of fun. That's probably the best part. Is we get to eat great food that ends up being free, which is always nice. We get T-shirts, but we get to meet the restaurant owners, usually great staff and good people. But meeting the people that have been supporting us for all these years, and especially me, Katina's been doing it for about 4. I'm at 14 now. And so to meet people that have been watching for like a decade, who already pretty much, because they've watched so many videos, feel like they know me.
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
really cool to meet them for a little bit.
Is there a challenge out there you've not gotten around to yet that you know exists? That's like, what's the Mount Everest? Is there one that stands above the rest in your mind?
Well, actually, just up in Duluth, Minnesota, not too long ago, I went to Big Daddy's and I did a massive 11 half-pound patty burger with 22 strips of bacon, 22 slices of cheese, and then 2 pounds of fries. So it was like 11 pounds. And that's very similar to my Mount Everest, which is Eagles Deli in Boston, Massachusetts. I've got to be skinnier because it's about the same size burger, maybe even a little bit smaller than Big Daddy's, but there's 5 pounds of fries. And so that's going to be difficult. But if I beat the Eagles Deli Burger Challenge, I'll be able to retire the next day just fine.
Wow.
I don't need to eat any challenges bigger than that.
Yeah.
Do you have a contemporary, a challenger out there somewhere where I got to beat this guy, right? That do you compete against anyone else?
Rival.
No, I mean,
rival. Yeah.
Our fans and our viewers always try to create competition between all the different YouTube channels and stuff like that. But as far as most of us, we don't feel like we're in competition. I mean, in reality, we're in competition with all of the other stuff that people have the option to watch. I mean, we're competing with cats, just like you guys. You're competing with other stuff, not even in your realm for people's time. And so, I mean, with me, since 2012, really, I've always been doing all these food challenges so that I can grow my audience and do better as as of 2015, a registered dietitian. I started back at school again and got my second degree in dietetics from 2016 to 2019. And then I took a break, and then we moved up to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so that I can do a 1,200-hour dietetic internship and then complete my master's degree, which I'm just about done with. So I'll be retiring from all the food challenges to focus on using my social media to help people better understand nutrition, fundamental nutrition, and weight management. And so that's kind of my exit. A lot of people will grow their social media all big and huge, but then once they're done with what they were doing, they're burnt out or whatever the reason is, they just basically give up the channel. There's nothing else to do with it. I've always wanted to take what I've built up and then shift it over. I mean, I'll lose some people, but I'll gain a lot more because obviously, as everybody knows, there's a lot of people that need help with weight management and nutrition and stuff like that. And who better to listen to than somebody who's been dealing with weight management and stuff for the last many, many years.
That all certainly checks out. I'm looking at your page. So Sunday, you're at Parkway Pizza.
Yes.
What is the 16-inch carnivore pizza challenge?
Yeah, I got my flight at 3:50 p.m. to make sure I could do a lunch challenge before I get out of here. But yeah, the Longfellow location of Parkway Pizza, I'll be doing a 16-inch carnivore pizza. And it's not... I hope they don't hear this, but it's not the hardest challenge. So,
sure, it's only 16 inches.
I think I'll do fine with it. So they are going to actually let me add some toppings. So I'm probably going to add some healthy vegetables to that as well.
Very nice.
And I'll have like a half hour to do it. It'll be fun. It'll make a good video.
And then you'll roll right onto that flight and just, no one on that plane will be any the wiser.
And then I will get home and I'll get right on the bike and start burning it off.
Man, that is...
All right. I got to hear it twice, and I know our listeners are leaning in. Parkway, Longfellow, Parkway Pizza in the Longfellow location at what time?
At 12 p.m. Yeah, I got to make sure I get done in time. And
high noon.
If you can't make it, it will be live streamed on my Facebook page. Everything's Randy Santel. We've got TikTok, we've got Snapchat, all that different stuff.
All right.
Man, that is absolutely awesome. Okay, so as a kid, you're growing up near St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Let's go high school. Back in the days when you are a sandwich artist at Subway and you're putting down 3 foot-long double meats a day, what are you listening to? What was your music?
Actually, like I was telling you before this, my very first concert was Styx, REO Speedwagon, and Bad Company.
The classics.
Yeah, I didn't get into country music until later. But yeah, I would say stuff that my dad used to listen to.
Okay, yeah, right on. And now that you're in Nashville, you have more live music going on all around you every night of the week. It's hard not to find something to do.
It's actually going to be very tempting because when I'm not traveling, I'm trying to diet. But there's just so many temptations and opportunities to go do fun stuff in Nashville that I'll definitely have to learn to control myself and have some discipline.
I'm not worried about you in that regard. The fact that, like I said, the fact that you walk in here, you look great, you stand up straight. You're not. I would have to be wheeled everywhere if I spent one day in your shoes.
Well, it's not always the food that packs on the pounds too.
Well, that's very true. That's very true, man. Randy, seriously, this is so cool. We were talking about you yesterday, and then we were able to get you in here. So thanks for coming.
I had quite a few subscribers actually message me and say that they heard about me on the show. So,
great.
Apparently some of my viewers listen to you guys as well, which is really cool. And this has been a fun conversation.
Excellent. Thanks again, Randy.
Thank you.
All right, a little bit of a history lesson. It's May 30th. On this day in 1994, the greatest golf round ever registered. It came from the Pyongyang Golf Club in North Korea. Unsurprisingly, it was from Kim Jong-il, who shot 38 below par. He shot a 34 because everyone in North Korea is absolutely bat crap crazy. They thought that was real. He claimed to have 5 holes in one on the first round of golf he ever played. Must be great to be that talented. By the way, he's 5'2".
Yeah, gave it all up to run a country.
Not by. Look at how much he sacrificed. Not quite buying it.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.